off and get a more vertical attack on the lip on your toe side. And I think we're starting to see that paddle technique being used by most of the top stand-up paddle surfers to really set up a higher quality of surfing on their backside.
Definitely, and that's what the judges are looking for is the utilization of that paddle. As we see Reagan Farley out of New Zealand up and riding on his fourth wave, opting to go on the lefts. You know, we're seeing the guys in this round taking a look at these lefts because it's a little less windy on those lefts. The wind's blowing straight into the rights.
Yeah, we saw some of the ladies not having as much luck there, but looking back to round number one of the men, some of the highest scoring waves were achieved on the lefts. So we'll have to see what the strategy is out here. We've got a loaded heat here, looking towards heat number two. Heat number two on deck has Hector Gonzalez from Mexico, Jose Magra, Bo Nixon, and Karsten Kermis. Getting ready there, getting wound up on the beach there, playing with some of the local dogs here, and a lot of fun being had by everyone. And Antoine Del Perro taking off on a nice-looking right-hander, generating a lot of speed. That board looks awesome under his feet. Let's see what he can do. Throwing the fins out. Maybe a little bit of air there. We'll have to see the wind blowing up under the board. Hard to see from this angle, but nice speed and flow for Antoine Del Perro. Certainly a force to be reckoned with on stand-up paddle surfing at any break and any condition. Right now your situation, red in the lead with a 6.0, yellow in second and riding right now with a 4.67, white in third with a 3.77, and black in fourth with a 1.77. Still waiting for some scores to drop for virtually all of our riders, with just under 10 minutes left in this heat.
So this is round number 2 of the qualifying side of the bracket, and so all of the guys in this heat got either first or second in their first qualifying round heat. Third and fourth from the round 1 qualifying heats will go into the repechage. They'll get a chance to surf again. Sean Pointer, last year's champion, he got beat by Bo Nixon in heat number 4, qualifying round number 1. So I'm sure he's a little bit fired up. When I caught up with him earlier, he, said he thought he made a few mistakes, and he learned from those mistakes, and he plans on going out there and surfing a smarter heat. So we'll see as he's getting his campaign underway. His first wave, a 1, his second wave, a 0.77. Judges still deliberating on his third wave. We've got a lot of scores we're waiting on. Antoine Del Perro's second wave, we're still waiting for a score on Reagan Farley's third and fourth waves, as well as Sebastian Del Castillo's third and fourth waves. So still a lot of scores to drop here, and see if that changes the situation at all. But Dan, it's great to see Team USA with a full team this year. Last year they kind of had a fraction of a team.
That's true, and some countries really have the resources to support their teams in these types of competitions, and USA isn't one of them. And a lot of these athletes need to figure out a way to get themselves here. So a lot of that comes down to hard work, sponsors, friends and families supporting them. So we really appreciate all their efforts for being here, and for any team that doesn't have that type of support. We know financially it's a big deal. It costs a lot of money to travel like this with the large equipment, and finding accommodations, food, transportation, all of it. It all comes down to dollars, and we appreciate them coming here. I think Team USA has a great chance of bringing home a gold this year. We've got a great team with the likes of Chuck Glenn and Slater Trout going to be racing for us. Obviously, Emmy Merrill doing very well in the surfing portion of the event here. So we're hoping that she can claim a gold medal here, and I think they have their work cut out for them from the likes of people like Antoine Del Perro and the whole French team, who's got a very strong team, and from what I can tell is probably one of the most rigorous and challenging team qualifications for their complete team, and they were the very first country to select a team. So they've actually known that they were coming. They've had a lot more training and a lot more motivation, if you will, to improve their skills in the lead up to this event.
Well, yeah, you can see Antoine Del Perro opted to go on that left, and he serves really well on his backhand. I'll have to say, like, he's not overutilizing the paddle, but utilizing it just enough to help transition and maneuver through, or transition through maneuvers, I should say, but not overutilizing or switching back and forth between hands. I think when the guys do that too much, it starts looking a little bit like baton twirling and can be a bit distracting and not as pleasant on the eyes. And, you know, the judges want to see, they almost don't want to notice the paddle. Like, they want the guys to utilize it to help increase their maneuverability and maybe do some bigger turns, but not overuse it and flip it around where it's almost a distraction. So there's a fine line there, but you know, you see guys like Antoine, and Bo Nixon, they've got that use of the paddle really down.
Yeah, and I think Antoine Del Perro is one of the best on the backside in the sport, definitely, and it's hard to say if he serves better on his forehand or his backhand, and it really goes to show you need to have a multitude of talents and skills and not just be confined to surfing a right and always taking the right, and be flexible and be aware and know how to position yourself for the best possible scoring chance and the best possible wave.
I think it comes down to a lot to equipment too, riding on your backhand. You know, you got to have a board that really pivots off the tail and can get that kind of squirt off of the bottom turn. And you can see Antoine's board looks really, really well, like really good under his feet, really responsive. And I think that's one of the keys. And it's tricky to figure out how to utilize your paddle on your backhand, and he's got that down pat.
Absolutely, it's a lot more difficult on a stand-up paddleboard to generate that same type of speed on your heel edge, on your backside, than it is to do it on your toe side. So Antoine Del Perro just giving a clinic, if you will, on how to do this here. And you can see how he holds that paddle on his heel side, and that what it allows him to do is you see him lean into that paddle just a little bit, is really gouge the rail of that board in on the tail and use that to accelerate up the face of the wave. And it allows for some more vertical surfing where that board is going vertically up the wave for those roundhouse maneuvers.
Well, we've got just 3 minutes and 33 seconds left in this heat, and it looks like Antoine is going to be bettering his score of the 2.57. We're still waiting for his third scoring wave and fourth scoring wave to drop, but as of right now, his fourth scoring wave is at least a 7, Dan.
Well, Antoine definitely looking very solid in this heat, and kind of the surprise is Sean Pointer there, looking like he's scrambling a little bit here at the end of the heat with just 3 minutes left. We see him on screen here, maybe an interference call coming into play here with Sean Pointer, so I'm not sure if that would have been a really contentious wave score anyways, but nonetheless, he lost an opportunity to make a wave score. And now we've got a little bit of a change-up in the situation with Antoine Del Perro posting some more beautiful scores there with a 7.33 on his backside. But it's Sebastian Del Castillo dropping a 3.47 on his third wave to move into the second place position. Regan Farley needs a 5.17. And are they going to split the peak on this one? One guy going left, one guy going right. Looks like Regan went left, and we're looking at the rider in red on the right, Antoine Del Perro. And there's Regan trying to get what he can muster out of the rest of this wave here as it comes into the inside. Nice paddle transitions there. Trying to keep that paddle in play, utilizing it to generate some speed and some torque on the turns. I don't think that's going to be good enough for the 5.17. He needs to overtake this guy right here, 15-year-old Sebastian from Peru. Nice looking little board. I bet you that board is a pretty small, probably 80 some odd liters, 7.1 to 7.4 in length, and probably only 24 or 25 inches wide. So it's amazing how light and how frisky these boards get when they get that small.
Yeah, and I mean, this heat's gone by so fast. It's already just, 1 minute and 13 seconds left in this heat, and Sean's kind of got himself in a situation for Team USA. With an interference on his third wave, he got himself, unfortunately, that takes one of his scores away. So he's looking for a 6.01 to advance. His last wave came in at a 4.27, as you see Team USA and Team Peru down there cheering their teammates on out in the water. Their teammates are in second and third place. Reagan Farley from New Zealand in white. He's looking for a 5.27 to advance. So as of right now, with 30 seconds left in this heat, we see Sean Pointer digging in, trying to find something out the back. He's looking for a 6.11. And if he loses in this heat, he'll go to the repechage, so he won't get knocked out of the event. But we'll see if we catch this wave before the horn blows.
And he takes position over Antoine Del Perro. You wonder if that was a bit of a strategy maneuver there. Sometimes, even if it's not a great scoring wave and you're in position, maybe it's better to take that opportunity away from one of your competitors. But here's Sean trying to make the most of a mediocre wave there, and that's just not going to do it. So unofficially, we've got in red Antoine Del Perro taking the win by 5.09 points. In second, Sebastian Del Castillo from Peru. And in third place, Regan Farley. And in fourth place, Sean Pointer.
So, yeah, Antoine will be dropping the fourth highest score of the event so far with that 7.33. And we're going to take a quick break, Dan, for the ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships here in Nicaragua. La Boquita, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to beautiful country of Nicaragua for the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships. We are in La Boquita Beach for SUP surfing qualifying round number 2, heat number 2, and let's meet our competitors in this round. Hector Gonzalez will be in red from Mexico, Jose Magra from Venezuela in white, Bo Nixon from Australia in yellow, and Karsten Kermes from Germany in black. I'm Bo Hodge along with Jody Nelson. Welcome to the broadcast, the webcast, wherever you may be watching from around the world. We are in afternoon competition as there's Team France celebrating a 3-time ISA World Champion, a 2-time longboard champion, 09 and 2013, and of course the 2012 SUP surfing ISA World Champion. So a big win for Antoine Del Perro, taking down the defending gold medal champion. And there's our breakdown here in round 2, heat 2 for the men, Jody.
Yeah, a bit of an upset in that last heat with Sean Pointer going down for Team USA. He's not quite seeming like himself. It seems like, I think, he's in his own head. And so I'm sure Ian Cairns, their coach. So their coach, Ian Cairns, will be talking with Sean, kind of helping him get through that mental barrier that happens so much in heats, as we saw just now up and riding Bo Nixon, who took down Sean Pointer in the qualifying heat round 1. So maybe that getting into Sean's head a little bit and him kind of Just putting the pressure on himself.
Well, I was watching the heat also, Jody, and I think Sean was just out of syncs. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The interference played with him, and he just could not get back into sync. So, going into the repo rounds is not a bad thing. Here we go. Hector Gonzalez up and riding for Mexico. Nice first carving turn. Here he goes against the wind now. Big open slash on the forehand face. Here he goes back again. Boom. Spraying his competitor, Bo Nixon, as he goes back out a third time around, mixing up the variety here. Now he's going to cut back in on the inside section. Let's see what he has here, Jody.
Yeah, Hector keeping that speed going on the inside, get that last maneuver on the reform. And I'll tell you what, Bo, the judges are going to be really, really pleased with that. And I'll tell you why. He was not only just putting it on rail, but throwing water. So
well, he had the combination of speed, power, and flow. If you don't have the speed, you're not going to have the power. And he had the spray. He had the flow with the transitions. We watched Bo Nixon up and riding. This will be his second wave. First score not available for Nixon as of yet. And Bo now carving in on the inside. And that's what the judges want to see. They want to see a result out of the turn. Boom. Banks it off the whitewater one more time. And now he's finding a groove. And that's what Sean Pointer didn't have in the last heat. He didn't have that groove from wave to wave.
Well, and we're seeing the wind starting to lay down, Bo. There's no more white caps out the back. So the guy's starting to get some better conditions here as we see black up and right. And this is Karsten Kummes from Germany.
Yeah, Karsten getting his momentum going, open up with a wave score under a point, and this is not going to be one of his top two. So a great opening start for Nixon and Gonzalez, and we'll be on standby to see what Jose Magra from Venezuela, and there's Team Australia, as they are the defending two-time team champion of the ISA World SUP Paddleboard Championships, the last 2 years being held at Miraflores in Peru. And for the first time being ventured off in a lake format for the distance and technical races, and back in the ocean for the SUP surfing for men and women. A 6.17 for Nixon on his second wave and a 4.5 for his opening ride. And we're still on standby for that great opening wave for Gonzalez. Yeah, Hector Gonzalez, a 7.5. So already Nixon and Gonzalez claiming stake. They want to take command of this heat.
Yeah, the judges really like that surfing. They like the surfing from Bo too, but you can tell they're kind of sending a message. We want to see you put even more on rail and throw some more water around, as we see Jose Magra out of Venezuela taking off on this nice little inside left. We'll see if he can get it to line up, but see, he just got the rail caught there. He did a real flat turn and didn't really bend his knees, so that his rail just caught and he flipped right over.
There goes Gonzalez back out to the outside. 15 minutes remaining, so a lot happened in the first 5 minutes of this heat. The incoming tide is making conditions better. Here we go, surfer in yellow. This is Bo Nixon, your heat leader out of Australia, on his backhand. Nice carving turns. Look at the transition. Very fast, very fluid, and keeping that board moving. That's what the judges like to see. There, using the paddle for the transition, back and forth on this backhand, his forehand side, throwing it off the whitewater. It's going to be another good scoring wave for Nixon.
Yeah, he does a really good job of shoving that paddle into the wave and then really using that momentum and extending his body to torque himself and get a good extension in his backhand turn. So, that's not Bo makes it look really easy, but surfing like that on your backhand on a stand-up paddleboard is not easy feat by any means. So we'll see how the judges like that. It was a smaller wave, not as big as the right that he had earlier. As we see in red, out representing Sayulita, Mexico, that is Hector Gonzalez on another right, Bo.
Yeah, let's watch him on the attack. He opened up with a 7.5. Nice carving turn up high. Down low again. Boom. Throwing the fins and the tail. 180 there. Carving back on the inside. Getting back on the open face. Now on the inside section, Jody. You see what he can do here. Boom. Throws it one more time. I like the repertoire that he's throwing here. Banks it one more strong turn at the end, and he's going to back up that 7.5. And look at Team Mexico; they are excited for him.
Yeah, they're a fun team to hang out with, and they've got the flag down there representing, and their coach, as we see Karsten Kummes out of Germany. He's got two small scoring waves, so he's going to want to try and be a little more patient, get into more of a set wave. He's looking to replace a 1.83. But this is a pretty tough heat out there with Hector and Bo Nixon, so you got to kind of scrap around out there to just get what you can.
Well, you're seeing Hector and Bo catch the better waves here, so that's leaving some of the smaller waves for Jose and Karsten now, and you can see the quality of the maneuvers just not there. So with the bigger waves that the other two surfers are catching, the smaller waves, you're not able to do those big, powerful turns. So that's what the judges are looking for. Wave selection is part of the criteria here. So if you're catching the smaller inside waves, you're not going to score as high. There's Jose Magra from Venezuela, currently in third place, needing an 8.07. Last wave score for Gonzalez from Mexico, a 4.83. Last wave for Nixon in yellow, a 4.43. So not much there for Nixon. He did not do better than his 4.5. And for Gonzalez, now he has his 2-wave minimum. He can start working and building his house from here. He's got a high of a 7.5 and the low of that last wave of a 4.83. And there's Team Venezuela, and they're cheering support. Is cheering on Jose Magra, surfer in white.
Can you explain building a house? Sometimes I know people that don't follow surfing don't really understand that terminology, but it makes sense. But
yeah, well, you're scored on your best 2 waves. So Gonzalez has a 2-wave minimum right now, so he can work off that. Now he needs to improve on his 4.83, which is his low, and keep his 7.5. So let's say he scores a 6 now. Now he's starting to do a better score. He's building his score to a better performance, because who knows, Bo Nixon could get a 9.95 on his next wave and all of a sudden outpoint him. And if this is a final, then you're always fighting for first place. So what the surfers want to do is get their 2-wave minimum, because you never want to have a backup score of a 2 or a 3 or a 1. You always want to have at least an average or an excellent score for your final 2 waves.
And looking at the top 5 scores and the top 5 heat totals from today, it's interesting, Bo, because not the same names are on both of those lists, which means like someone like Bo Nixon, who has the 3rd highest scoring heat of the day, who's up and riding right now, getting a nice big off the top right there. He's being patient. He's not over surfing this wave, waiting for the opportunity to do a nice big hook there, a roundhouse cutback, utilizing that paddle. Unfortunately, just comes unstuck as we see Hector Gonzalez on a left out the back. Not one of his bigger waves. He's looking to improve on a 4.83. But, he's given us a look at.
But this is part of building his house. He
Yep.
had 2 rights. Now he's going to test the left and see what he can do there. Not much there. He's not going to better his 4.83, so he's going to go back. I bet he catches another right on his next wave.
Yeah, and he was one of the top performers in round 1, but he's not in either of the top 5 scores or heat totals. But what I was explaining with Bo Nixon, he had a heat total of 13.40, which means he had 2 mid-range scores. He's not in the top 5 single wave total score. He's not, these guys have the scores in the 7s and 8 ranges. So what we're seeing with the guys that are getting these single high wave scores, they're not getting their backups, and consistency is going to be the key in this event, is being able to go out there and get 2 high scoring waves, or excellent waves, which is above that 8-point ride, and we're yet to see anything get thrown out above an 8-point ride. We saw Jackson Close from Australia, who's coming up in the next heat, got an 8.0 in the qualifying round 1. So I think as today plays out, these teams are going to take a step back and look at how the performances have gone down and kind of reassess the situation and their strategies and the way they're approaching these heats.
Well, Jody, you're spot on right there, because, we're not going to have an increase of swell. These are the type of conditions we're going to see for the next 2 days. And so these are all the conditions that all the competitors have to compete in. There's Magra having a little bit of trouble trying to get on the back of that wave. 9 minutes remaining.
At the end of the day, they're all out in the same surf, right? So, there are limited opportunities when the sets aren't plentiful. There's probably 1 or 2 guys that are going to get the better, bigger waves. But at the same time, there's 4 guys out. They have 20 minutes, and their job is to just get 2 high-scoring waves. So it's anybody's game out there. It's just surfing a smart heat.
Bo Nixon last scored a 4.87, so he does just a fraction better than his low wave of 4.5. He still needs a 6.17 to catch Gonzalez for the lead at 3.03 last for Hector Gonzalez in red. So he remains in the lead with a 7.5 and a 4.83. For our bottom 2 surfers, Jose Magra in white on the inside of your screen there. He now needs an excellent scoring wave, the best wave of the day of a 8.44. And also for Karsten Kermes from Germany in black, Karsten now needs an 8.87. So a tall order for white and black. And let's watch this attack. We're starting to see the lines move in as the tide moves up. Here we go, surfer in black. This is Karsten Kermes from Germany, and also in white, Jose Magra.
Yeah, Jose Magra going left. And you can see this wave has like some ribs in it. He got past a couple of those little sections. He's just doing a few cutbacks. It's a little more groomed on that left, but the wind's really kind of flipping around different directions out there. Wasn't really able to get anything super critical on that wave, but he's looking to replace a 197. And our guys in white and black don't have scores over a 2.60. As we see Bo Nixon just going down, he's looking to replace a 4.87. So that consistency coming into a factor. He's got that 617, and if he's able to get another wave over 5 or 6, he's got 2 decent waves, whereas Hector has that 7.50, but his backup score is only a 4.83.
It's interesting to see what Bo's doing here. He's coming in on the inside. I don't know if he's got broken equipment or if he hurt himself, but there's still lots of time remaining in this heat. So don't know the circumstances he come in. I think he broke his paddle, and that's the situation. So that's why he's on the prone position paddling in. So Bo Nixon, a finalist last year, a copper medal 4th place finish, is now coming in on the inside. So Team Australia will be coming in and transitioning him for a paddle, but they cannot go out in the water. So Nixon has to come in all the way on the inside. And the good thing that he's comfortably in 2nd place because he's not losing valuable time.
That's right. He pointed to his board too, so I don't know if he's looking to do a board switch or a paddle switch. So let's take a look here and see what's going on.
Yeah, you're right, Jody. He's going to go for a board switch. He still has his paddle there. So don't know if he blew out a fin or if he just wants to try transitional board. He wants to go to the smaller, bigger board. It looks like he's got a 5-fin setup. He's got the guitar pick fin on that box setup of his Nash board. So it wasn't a broken paddle. And so he had to come in on his own. As you saw, plenty of time remaining, 5 minutes, 50 seconds remaining. So a bit of a situation happening in the water with Nixon.
Looked to me like it was a smaller board. Just seeing him laying on it, it looks a little bit less, like it's less foam, but we'll see when he catches his next wave.
But, he's got plenty of time. He can go out and catch maybe 1-2 more waves on the different board, and he can kind of test the conditions. And you know what? I like my bigger board. No, I like my smaller board. And this is going to give him a competition background on his equipment.
And if my memory serves me correct, I remember him doing some board switches last year during heats as well. So maybe, I don't know, sometimes that can play with your head too because you're not committed. But in this heat, he can afford to do it because he's pretty comfortably in that 2nd position as we see Karsten Kermes out of Germany. He's yet to score over a 2.17, so he's looking to drop at 2.0. But there's a pretty big gap between 2nd and 3rd place. Jose Magra in 3rd needs a 8.34 to advance, and Karsten that we just saw kick out of that wave in black, he's looking for an 8.87. So almost for these guys, the way the scores have been going today, we haven't seen anything over an 8, so it's almost a combination of 2 wave scores for Karsten and Jose.
Karsten, the German SUP champion, coming in, 46 years of age. Does quite a few other activities and being sponsored by Starboards and Killer Fish and Jenga Wetsuits. And from Munich area. And the German contingency yesterday having a great time at the opening ceremonies. As we are in day number 1, we have a full week of competition, 3 full days of competition coming up for the SUP surfing. We are in the qualifying round number 2. We had qualifying rounds 1 earlier for men and women. We had roughly 43 men, 17 women competing. The advancing surfers qualify into the 2nd round. Surfers eliminated today will be delegated to the repechage, the losers round. So double elimination format. So already our gold medal winner from last year delegated into the repechage round number 2. So we'll be seeing Sean Pointer possibly surf as early as tomorrow. Watch us set up on the outside, 3.5 minutes remaining as Gonzalez lets this wave go, and Magra has it.
Magra getting into a nice size little left here as he kind of gets caught up in the wind. It's almost like the wind's blowing into the lefts now, wouldn't you say, Bo?
Yeah, and watch Bo Nixon here on the smaller board on the inside, able to do quite a few tighter turns with that smaller board.
Yeah, he's definitely on a smaller board. You can see him just paddling on it. It's sinking, and Bo's looking like he's a bit of a bigger boy this year than he was last year.
Well, 4th place last year. He's made the final. He wants to return. A mission not accomplished last year, even though they won the team competition, Team Australia. But he's going for gold this year, and already seen in the earlier heat with 2 gold medal competitors going in that first heat, with Antoine Depero advancing on into qualifying round number 3. There's Team France, and there's Antoine. He looks like he's got some war paint on him. He's got so much sunscreen on. And that's him, second sitting to the right side. And Team France with a very stacked team, not only in the SUP surfing for men and women, but also for the distance and for the technical races coming up later this week.
Yeah, you got that team pride going on there. They've got their France representation there. And, that's what's so great about this sport and this organization with ISA, that the countries coming behind each other and really cheering each other on, watching their teammates, as we see Karsten Kummis out of Germany trying to get into this wave, but it's not really giving him much on offer here as he redirects over to the left to see if he can hit a lip there, but it just comes unstuck. As we see Team Mexico, they're pretty happy. Their boy is in first place right now, holding it down with a 7.50 and a 4.83 with just 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining in this heat. He's looking pretty good to advance out of this qualifying round 2. And would you say, so now Sean Pointer's down in the repecharge heat, and he's last year's champion. Could that possibly play a factor in being an advantage for
Well,
US?
the ISA has done their statistics about, gold medal winners. A majority of the gold medal winners have come from the repecharge round. So, don't count these guys out.
You think Sean Pointer was out of sync on purpose?
No, I don't think he was out of sync on purpose. He was just,
That's strategy?
Well, he just didn't pick the right waves at the right time, So Team
nobody
USA.
wants to lose heats, so I don't think even if that was part of a strategy, that'd be a pretty difficult strategy. But that's the great thing about this format is you do get to surf again if you lose. But now the thing with Sean is if he can't lose again.
No.
If he loses again, he's out. So he has there's no more safety net.
And we saw that at the ISA Juniors in Ecuador just a couple of weeks ago with the defending gold medal champion Josh Moniz from Hawaii being delegated to the repecharge round early in the competition, and then coming up Thursday, Friday, he lost out in the second, which was the biggest upset in the whole competition. So it can happen to returning gold medal winners,
Some athletes perform better under that pressure, knowing that there's absolutely, if they lose, they're out, You see that in any format where there's a loser's round. Sometimes you get better performances in that do or die round.
So there's the sound of the horn. We heard Mono count down the final seconds here. Heat 2, round 2, Bo Nixon following up. And it will be Gonzalez and Nixon advancing on into qualifying round number 3. So stick around. We've got heat number 3 on deck next. Jody Nelson, Bo Hodge saying we'll be right back after this. You're watching the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboarding Championships live from La Boquita Beach here in Nicaragua. Welcome back to the beautiful country of Nicaragua. You're watching the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships. We are at La Boquita Beach in the surfing portion, qualifying round number 2, heat number 3. And let's introduce our surfers in the water. You can see in the black jersey, hailing from France, Jeremy Massere. In the red jersey from Australia, Jackson Close. In the white jersey, Maurice Mock from Germany. And in the yellow jersey from Spain, Guillermo Carcancido. So Bo Hodge along with Jamie Mitchell. Welcome back to the broadcast, Jamie. And just analyzing Bo Nixon's strategy in the last year, I was trying to ask you if you knew anything with that board change that he came on the inside. He went from a bigger Nash board to a smaller Nash board. Didn't look like he broke his equipment, but he was comfortably in second with a huge lead. Maybe he just wanted to test out a smaller board in the competition conditions.
Yeah, I would think that's the case. Is if he knows he's going to in a transition spot, it just might be a little bit of reconnaissance for him to just see how both boards feel in these conditions. So he's having a little bit of a paddle battle here. Whoa, okay. Jackson's a competitor. I'll tell you one thing about Jackson Close from Australia. He knows how to win, and he's been in a lot of surfing contests, so he's a savvy competitor.
Now, being this could be a right, that could be a possible interference called by the judges. We're going to have to wait and see. Jeremy had position being deeper in the takeoff zone where Jeremy kind of came back right at him. So, but he did kick out early, so the judges are going to judge that. And here we go, Jackson Close up and riding.
Yeah, Jackson, he's comes from a classic longboarding background. He's won a bunch of Australian longboard titles, and you can sort of see that with his style. But very smooth, very powerful, and just riding this one to the inside, another sort of slash to layback, and it's hard in these conditions. It's very repetitious, but the guys that can sort of change it up a little bit and be a little bit get a little bit more variety in their waves. I think the judges will probably score that very well.
How is SUP surfing down under in Australia? Is it really taking off? Is it going to the surf festivals? Is it being done at the Noosa Longboard Championships every year?
Yeah, I think Noosa was one of the first ones to involve it as it should be. Noosa is such a festival of just everything surfing. So, but yeah, they have a lot of contests. A lot of local subsidiary clubs starting up in different areas like the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast. Down in Sydney is very big. In Victoria, it's just it's everywhere. We're so lucky in Australia that we have Surfing Australia, and then we have our branches off the states. Queensland, Western Australia, and surfing is such a on our local news on the Gold Coast. So here we go. There's this little intervention in the replay.
So they actually did touch rails there.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if Jackson doesn't get an interference. That was pretty silly on his behalf. He saw that he was on the wave, and so it'll be interesting to see what the call is.
So we're on standby for the call. No official call has been made. Here we go. Guillermo from Spain taking a look at this wave, not able to get on it, but on the inside section, this is Mock from Germany.
Yeah, again, what a amazing. We have Germany, France, and Spain and Australia. So, here we go.
So we're on standby for scores. First wave for Jeremy in black, a 2.67. We were watching Guillermo up and riding. This is his opening wave.
Yeah, he's got a nice little wave, and to me it looks like conditions have improved a little bit. They're sort of milking him further to the inside. The wind doesn't look quite as up the face, so conditions improving. But again, like the old age saying is, you only need 2 waves. And wave selection's key. That wave not quite big enough to really get some big turns in, but again, it's just a score. And some of these guys just like to get a couple of scores under their belt, feel the board, see how it's reacting, and and then they build on that. So
Jeremy out on the outside looking at his third wave here and catching the wave before it breaks, so now he can start dictating whether he wants to take it right, take it left, and he starts to read the wave. Now he's going to go on his backhand. Banks it off the whitewater section, and sometimes these lefts really open up out here at La Boquita. Now on the inside section, rakes it one more time back around, and that's about all he could do there. He couldn't manufacture anything more. He couldn't generate the board speed to do those quality turns.
No, it's a smaller wave as well, but I really like the way that he was using his paddle, and you can see him really arcing and torquing his body back towards the the powerful part of the wave. So it's, I think the judges like that. I think you like to see the use of the paddle and the changing in the hands and just really talking that body back into the power source. So, he probably did as good as he could on that size of a wave.
I'd like to thank all of our great sponsors making the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddleboard Championships all possible here, being presented by Intour, the Nicaragua's Ministry of Tourism, sponsored by Avianca, Voss TV, Tigo, Channel 6 locally here in Nicaragua. Our media partners include SUPRacer.com, Sophos, Latin America's leading surf publication, Passion Extrema on Fox Sports Latin America, and SUP Club and Waves Brazil. Jackson close, finishing up on his wave on the inside, and still no word yet from the judges, Jamie, about that first confrontation between him and Jeremy.
Yeah, no, Jackson, good wave, and here we are up wearing white Maritz from Germany, and nice size wave. Nice little reverse sort of paddle cut back there, and he'll try and do another little slash, and he's going to get hung up there. And again, wave selection key. Jackson got a pretty nice wave before that. If we get a replay of that, he got like a bunch of nice, strong, powerful turns. So, yeah, waiting on scores from a bunch of waves to come through yet.
18-year-old Maurice Mock from Germany, a three-time German national champion. So he's earned his keeps to qualify here for the ISA World Titles. And just qualifying for your country, that's a win in itself, and coming here and competing in Nicaragua.
Yeah, for me it was, I think, representing your country is one of the ultimate honors, and so, for these guys, I'm sure they're very, very proud and honored as we see Yellow up and riding, Guillermo from Spain. Nice sort of a wave here. It's just sort of reformed there. Looks like that was that rock from the inside, covered up. Nice little slashing turn there. Really tough conditions. You see all the ribs and ridges in the open face there. So these guys are having a hard time, but making the best of it.
A nice little finish up on the inside section. So this is going to be a keeper wave for Guillermo. Again, incomplete scores. We can tell you Jackson closed second wave, a 4.5 and a 4.83. First wave for Jeremy, a 2.67. And here we go, Jeremy out on the outside.
Yeah, Jeremy's picking off a nice wave. And again, that nice stylish backside turn with the paddle, torquing his body. Again, similar turns. He needs to try and change it up maybe a little bit. But beautiful, beautiful style. And that's a nice looking left-hander. So that's, 4 or 5 turns. And he's going to milk that as far as he can. A little bit of speed, generate with the paddle, and one last closeout re-entry, and that's a nice wave.
He really used his paddle, and that's what the judges are looking for, especially here in the SUP surfing division.
Yeah, you want to use your paddle. You want to be changing it in your hands for your different cutbacks. You saw him change it there and paddle a couple of times to just generate that last little speed to try and get that vertical last hit in. So they will like that wave. And I'd say that's going to be his highest wave of the heat so far.
Jeremy Masseri right there in black. That's his fourth scoring wave. His opening wave, a 2.67. Partial scores for second and third being inputted. So judges playing catch up because a lot of these surfers catching a lot of waves with the incoming tide, filling in better conditions. Understand tomorrow our contest director Marcos is going to shut down the competition during the extreme low tide. So he's going to give the competitors the best opportunity because right at that peak this afternoon at about 12:30, it was really shallow.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that the girl, sort of the start of the girls, they sort of got the raw end of that tide. So you could definitely, give an hour or so there of, just a lunch break. And, and right now the conditions definitely have got cleaner. The wind is, looked like it's clocked to a better direction, maybe backed off a touch. And the tide is definitely, the incoming tide has definitely helped the swell. Looks cleaner, looks nicer, and it's definitely giving him more scoring opportunity.
Heat number 3, qualifying round number 2, men's SUP surfing, day number 1 of the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships. Welcome. I'm Bo Hodge along with Jamie Mitchell, and there's Team Germany cheering on their competitor, Maurice Mock, currently in 4th place. He has 3 scores. And none available for broadcast right now. We're waiting for the judges to input all the scores, and once we get those updated, we're going to get you updated.
As we see Jeremy's look at that first score drop. He's going to get up into the excellent range with that last left-hander that we were talking about. Judges obviously loving that smooth backhand attack, especially with that last little transition into the closeout re-entry. So
I think the variety, the mixture of the paddle really accented that wave and that score.
Yeah, as we see Jackson now going to the left, and this one doesn't look quite as clean. He's going to get stuck behind it, so it actually gets around that really nice. So you can see a little bit of difference there in the, change the paddle around just there a little bit, but it definitely looks nice when you see the guys change the paddle, and and it's got to be a smooth transition too. I think the judges love to see when it's smooth and not jerky. So Jeremy getting rewarded, with a really nice score.
And you notice Jackson, he threw his paddle backwards because he knew he had to paddle back into the surf. So if he threw his paddle forwards, he would lose time in trying to retrieve his equipment.
I got a feel. I'm looking at his body language, Bo, and I got a feeling that throw of the paddle wasn't. I think it was a frustration throw, but we'll run with it. He's throwing it back out into the wind.
Going back to that first wave, now we have input from our scoring screen. It was a 3-2 call for the interference, 3 no call, 2 interference call for Jackson Close. So the judges did deem an interference, but only 2 of the judges, and it has to be a majority of the 3. So thus, no interference call of red of Jackson Close on that opening exchange. So let's watch the replay, the last left of Jackson Close.
Yeah, just a nice little speed turn off the top there. Just gets stuck behind the section a touch, and you can just see Jack. He's just a little bit out of sorts there, and changed his paddle. Not really much doing there, and you can see here it's when he throws his paddle, I think it's that's like in frustration. but look, Jackson's going to be very lucky because that interference call now he would probably be back in 3rd or 4th spot. So.
Well, he would definitely count his 4.83, and his 4.5 would have been cut in half, so that would have been like a 2.25. So he would have 7 points. He would still be in 2nd place, but still very much for Guillermo and Jeremy to jump up because Maurice Mock has now moved from 4th to 2nd on his last couple of scoring waves, but we still yet to see Jeremy's last 2 waves inputted.
Yeah, Jeremy's going to consolidate his lead with his 4th wave. As it drops, is a 7.1, so the highest score of the heat by far, and you know what that does is when you hear that, it gives you the chance to be able to sit and now wait. He can wait for the best wave. He can cherry pick the waves, as we see yellow dropping into a nice set wave, and nice little turn there, just a little fin release, and he changes the paddle back into a cutback. This wave is sort of fading out into the channel, so.
That's the thing with SUP surfing. You've got that paddle to catch up on the wave here. Here on a normal shortboard wave, he would have been out of this wave, but he's got a second chance with the paddle.
Yeah, and as soon as I said that the wave was fading out, he got to the inside section and got another couple of turns off. So, the paddle is such a huge advantage for us, and really allows you to surf waves that, people ask me why you love it so much. I'm like, well, I get in the water more. There's times when I was shortboarding that you wouldn't get out there, and now with a stand-up, you can get out and have a great time. So it just gives you more water time, which I think is good for everyone.
Jamie, talk about SUP surfing in big waves like Jaws and maybe some other places. I know a lot of the paddle crew has Shane Dorian and Billy Kemper and Ian Walsh have restored paddle in out at Piahi, and now some of the hardcore SUP guys are going back out there too.
Yeah, for sure. This year I made a point of trying to get out there a few times in the early swells where not many people were looking at me. And Kai Lenny went out like 2 or 3 times. It was really, really windy and challenging, but and then even when it's really good now, like I'll always have my stand-up gun and my paddle, for the certain times. And footage from this year that, you've seen Kai out there, I've seen Cody Kerbox, Zane, Chuck, Patterson's been out there. So there are definitely some guys pushing the limits, and not just at Piahi, but there's a pretty solid crew at Mavericks that are stand-up, into that. Jeff Clark's really loves stand-up out there. I did it at Cortez Bank a few years ago. Probably got my biggest waves I've ever caught out there. And then, it's... on the right conditions, when the wind is either really light or even a slide on shore, you potentially can paddle in. I think you could paddle into one of the biggest waves I've ever paddled into on a stand-up. It's just, you really get the chance to get in early and see the wave coming a touch earlier than everyone else as well. So that gives you a chance to get into a really good position.
Could you see the ISA expanding into a SUP big wave tournament?
Oh, I definitely think you could, expand, whether it's in with this, or it's a standalone event, or maybe a specialty event. You
Yeah.
know, like there's not, ASP has the Eddie and, some specialty events in, why not? I think the public loves seeing big waves and big wipeouts.
Yeah. Well, there's food for thought for the ISA as we watch Surfer in White. This is Maurice Mock. He was in second place, but the rest of the pack has caught him up. This is a very contested heat where we saw earlier heats very low scoring with the tide filling in with the waves. We're seeing a lot of these guys just back-to-back rides.
Yeah, very consistent waves in this heat. The last couple of heats have been the first and second guys have been sort of separated from third and fourth, but going back to the interference score, Jackson, if he gets through this heat, is going to count himself very lucky that he did not get that interference called on him.
Because right now, if he was incurred that interference call, he would be in fourth place right now because both Guillermo and Maurice Mock have enough points to beat his 1.5 score. So for Mock and White, he needs a 4.96, an average wave score for Guillermo in yellow, also a 5.5. Let's watch this last wave for Guillermo from Spain in yellow. Really having to stroke in to get into this wave.
Yeah, he's using his paddle for power. He gets a nice little slash off the top there. Just trying to find the power source right now, and he's just struggling to get over that. But there you go, the use of the paddle makes the inside section. Another little slash off the top to lay back, and he's going to try and just kick out in the channel there. And he looks sort of happy with that wave, so it's going to at least get him back into the ballpark of needing one last wave or score to get through.
Jeremy Masseri in black, in the lead, up and riding on this wave. Remember that 7.1 left-hander backside really vaulted him into first. You can see Jackson Close, the Aussie in second place, are out behind him. But let's concentrate on Jeremy right now. Is waiting for this wave to materialize, Jamie.
Yeah, a little bit of a nothing there wave at the start. Just didn't have too much to do, as you see Jackson at the back. And that was a nice rebound cut back there, and again using the paddle. So the inside has proved to be a better scoring for him. The outside is a little slow, but what a great performance by Jeremy. That was a very good heat, and he's going to probably, I'd say, improve on his second highest score. And I would say Jackson's about to drop a pretty big score from what I saw as well.
Yeah, he's definitely going to replace his low of a 4.5. Good combination of maneuvers, and that's what the judges want to see. Just not the same maneuver over and over again. Guillermo from Spain up and riding, currently in fourth, now needing a 5.5.
And this is a way that potentially could do it. He needs to get busy. It looks like it's sort of closed out a little bit. He's going to get a reform, bank off the top, and, just caught that rail. So unlucky. But what a tight heat, coming right down to the last 50 seconds, and with three guys that could transfer into that second spot.
Yeah, let's concentrate. This is a replay. This is Jackson Close as we were focusing on Jeremy on the first wave, but actually the second wave of the set was actually better.
Yeah, he's already done three nice slashing turns. A little sort of like lip glide floater there around that section. Another little cut back. And Jackson see him transition that paddle for his roundhouse there. And he's going to go back into the source of the wave to this inside section and just milking it for everything he's got. And I would go close to say that this probably was Jackson's best wave of the heat. So he'll consolidate himself as we see scores drop, and he's going to potentially have the highest heats, single wave total of the heat with that last wave.
Two judges already in the excellent range. Here we go. Maurice Mock paddling for this wave, and there would be no chance for him to catch up ground as Jeremy also is going to improve on his last wave. So that two-wave set of black and red really improved the margin for first and second. So we're on standby for scores. What an exciting heat. Heat number 3, qualifying men round number 2. And this could be playing a major factor because if Jackson and Jeremy have to face each other again with that encounter, it could. And we're watching some of the French guys check out Jeremy's board, seeing if the rail got dinged up. But here's the heat recap of Jackson earlier in his heat.
Yeah, Jackson's, like I said earlier, he's a veteran in the competition range, and he won't give an inch. So there you go. Maybe we got our first little bit of rivalry happening and bumping rails. And look at that turn from Jackson. Power and releasing the tail and moving that paddle. Judges will love, do love that. And like we're seeing, the wave is not even breaking here, and he's just been able to use that paddle to his advantage, get some more speed. Another slashing. You see how he moves his back foot on those slashes. He moves it right up to the center of the board. So when he transitions into the next turn, he's not getting stuck behind. So a lot of movement with Jackson's feet when he surfs.
6-time longboard champion from Australia using his knowledge here. but it was Jeremy Masseri from France, especially on this left. Jamie, a 7-point ride, really mixed it up well.
Yeah, Jeremy, this was a really smooth wave, smooth open face. His surfing was smooth, great use of the paddle, and the judges really loved it. You know, like the turns are a little bit dissimilar, but just such a beautiful wave, and probably the best looking wave of the heat. And he closes it off here with a nice vertical re-entry. So.
Speed, power, and flows are celebrating Team France. Stick around, more exciting action live from Nicaragua. You are watching the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships live from La Poquita Beach in Nicaragua. Stay tuned.
And welcome back to the 2014 World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships here at the Nicaragua La Boquita Beach, presented by ISA, celebrating their 50th anniversary of surfing competition in Olympic-style team format. My name is Dan Gavir. I'm joined by Jamie Mitchell here. We're on to the second qualifying round and heat number 4 of our men's stand-up paddle surfing.
As we have the Peruvian competitor, Tamai, get a nice little wave, little bank off the top, nice roundhouse cutback back into the foam, and not a bad way to start off the heat. So he's going to ride this all the way to the inside, nice little foam climb there, and going to kick out, and that's a nice way to start the heat for the Peruvian.
Yeah, Tamil really coming out strong last year, and a bit of a dark horse for maybe the world of SUP surfing. Maybe not so much for Peru, but coming out last year and really putting a stamp on his skill and prowess. And as I look out the window here, it looks like we have a little bit of a building swell here, and hopefully as conditions improve, we'll see some higher scores coming in here in the second qualifying round.
Yeah, replay of yellow here, and Francisco just goes little top turn off the top. He's going to try and hit that closeout re-entry. Makes that section into another cutback, and he's going to try and finish off now with a closeout. And yeah, not a bad little wave as well. A nice little left-hander, nice and smooth. And we've seen this last couple of heats that the lefts have started to, open up a little more. And it's not just the right-hander that's getting the big scores. It's the left, the last heat, I think one of the lefts was the highest scoring wave heat of the day. So,
absolutely. I think as the tide comes up, Jamie, it's allowing for a lot longer ride, and that wave is really walling up on what we saw before, as all that exposed rock is now covered with water, and so it's really holding a nice shape on the inside.
Yeah, we look like we have Colin McPhillips. Trying to paddle there. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but that very well could be some sort of interference, but we'll see. As yellow's up and riding, and just nice slash off the top, and just a little foam climb there, and that wave won't offer too much more. So
I like that redirect. He was heading right, and he slashed it and redirected to the left. It closed out, unfortunately, not much there for him to work with. Right now, looking at red, Tamil.
Yeah, Tamia again getting a nice wave on the inside, and into a reverse. Nice move. Haven't seen that one today. So You see the body language there. He's happy with himself with that, and he's going to try and milk this as much as he can, and there we go.
Nice maneuver there, one we haven't seen yet today, but certainly one we're starting to see even put into the aerial form. So I've seen some attempts by the likes of Kai Lenny and Zane Schweitzer, some of the more aggressive, progressive riders getting out, going for those air reverses, if you will.
Yeah, it's definitely the progression is getting to another level at the moment, and as we see the Mexican competitor, you can hear the Mexicans screaming in the background, and it's a nice wave for him, and that'll probably be the best wave score of him so far for this heat. So this heat started off with a bang. Lots of waves, lots of action, as we have three-time world longboard champ Colin McPhillips from the USA up and riding. And if anyone knows how to surf a heat, it's this guy. And nice little bank off the top there by Colin, and nice little sort of set-up turn, and he'll do a big, nice carving wrap here and patented Colin McPhillips cut back, and this heat is definitely underway.
And Colin's one of those surfers, Jamie, that just makes it look so easy. Very smooth, great placement with the paddle. He doesn't surf with overly aggressive or anything. He's always seems to surf well within his boundaries, but at the same time, very explosive surfing. So it's really fun to watch him convert his longboard skills into the stand-up paddling discipline, if you will, and really make the sport look good and make it look like a lot of fun to people on the beach that might be curious about it. Yeah,
as we have Tamai again, and man, the kid's on fire right now. He's just catching everything that moves. But yeah, going back to Colin, that just comes from that longboard, like Jackson Close and Bo Nixon. They have this longboard pedigree that allows them to be such great competitors. Now we go back to a replay of Red, and nice foam climb off the start there, and this wave doesn't look like it's got too much to offer, but he gets around that section, another little tap off the top and into sort of see him shift his weight forward to get around that section, and a nice little closeout foam climb and another nice re-entry there. So a nice backup for that first wave.
That was a beautiful final maneuver there, right into the pocket. Nice deep rail carve, throwing that board straight up, and that looks like a microchip of a board if I've ever seen one. It can't be more than 25 inches wide right there.
Yeah, these guys are probably like 150 dripping wet, right? So like 60 kilos, 65 kilos, and the boards are getting smaller and smaller, but not for me.
Have you heard of any ratios, like weight to liter ratios? One thing I've heard is for high performance, maybe a 1-to-1 ratio of liters to kilos. There's a lot of different theories out there on what works, but I think some of these guys are riding actually less than that.
Yeah, I think it comes to your balance, your center, how low your center of gravity is, and obviously your talent level as well. But I've got to about 8.0. That's about as small as I've gone so far. I'm a little bit bigger than these kids, but you can see them. Some of these kids like Mo Freitas and that are riding, like they're paddling and their boards are submerged. They're not even like some boards are completely submerged while they're paddling, and it's just when they're on the wave that they're up and planing.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of following the same kind of path that we saw windsurfing in a way. The board started out pretty big, and you were uphauling the sails, and it just progressed to smaller and smaller boards because the level of riding got so advanced. And here we're looking at Vasquez from Mexico with another nice wave here, and a nice little chop hop there that he navigated and almost turned it into a bit of a maneuver rather than a stumbling block. That was some nice riding. Yeah,
this looks like it's turning into a pretty close heat here. Tamil is, he's had 4 waves already, and pocket 4s. Colin's got a 4 as well, and looks like he's going to drop a similar sort of score. So, up and riding again. Tamil, the man that's catching anything that moves right now, and nice little sliding slash there, and releasing the fins into a nice cutback, using that paddle very nicely, and yeah, his board's looking really nice, and he's surfing well.
Yeah, he's like a flea on a hot brick. I tell you, Jamie, he is catching just about everything. And you got to wonder if that's an offensive maneuver or maybe even a bit of a defensive maneuver, because he's able to establish himself on a wave where no one else can. So that takes their scoring potential away from them.
Yeah, some guys will like to get 2 fours. He's in the lead. You can either play it safe and try and catch some and maybe block people. Or you can just sit and wait and be patient and wait for that one really good wave that might, allow you to get up into the excellent range. So, everyone's got different, different tactics. But as we see Colin McPhillips and White paddling to this sort of semi-set wave here.
And it looks like Colin McPhillips maybe taking a little bit more of the conservative approach compared to Tamil, trying to pick off the quality waves instead of going for the quantity. But Tamil has actually picked off a couple real quality waves as well as getting the quantity, and now Colin McPhillips, some nice little cutties there, roundhouse cutback, coming off the wave in control, looking absolutely comfortable out there on his Hobie. I think he's riding about an 8.0 or an 8.2.
Yeah, and look, Colin's, 3 big turns there, so, interesting to see how the judges, are scoring. In the shortboarding contest these days, you can go out and do 2 radical big turns and they'll score high instead of 8 taps to the beach. So Colin there really laying it on the line with 3 nice turns, so that should come in at a nice score. But I'm no judge, so
yeah, we give everyone a 10 for effort in here, and that's why they have us talking and pumping up everyone out here. And the situation right now, Tamil Marchand out front with a 9.63. Looks like Hernandez in second place, currently on the wave and riding the left on his backside at a 8.03. Colin McPhillips sitting in third place with the white jersey with a 4.17. And Vasquez, surprisingly, at the tail of the pack's got some work to do from Mexico.
Yeah, we still have a bunch of waves to drop. I think Colin's got 2 waves to be finalised, and Vasquez looks like he's going to drop a mid-range score. So it's going to be a tight heat like the last one, but Colin McPhillips again up and riding, and he's going to kick it out. He doesn't like what he sees there and kicks out. That's good experience there from Colin. But as we see conditions changing, from what I can tell here now, it looks like the wind has just kicked up again. The last heat was super clean, and looks like that south wind is sort of going blow up the face again, so it's making it challenging for these guys.
Absolutely. The waves do look like they are getting a little bit better, offering a little bit longer ride, and certainly that left-hander has opened up quite a bit since the tide has been rising.
The Mexicans showing their patriotic support there on the beach.
And again, your situation up on the screen with Tamil Martino from Peru out in front with a combo score of 10.06. Tahui Pu Vasquez with a 9.67. He needs a 4.56 to take the lead. Oh, and we just had a little change up there. Colin McPhillips with his last score drop and moves him into second, bumping Vasquez into third from Mexico and Francisco into fourth from Venezuela, respectively. Needs a few points there to get into the third place position. Looks like a 4.98 for Francisco to advance and a 4.81 for Vasquez to move into that second place spot. But Colin McPhillips getting rewarded nicely for his third wave with a 5.50 will be his highest scoring wave so far.
And the highest scoring wave of the heat. So Colin will sit in second spot right now, and he'll just need another solid wave, and he'll get into that first spot. But as we see a few little sets approaching, and everyone trying to scratch into position here.
Looks like Colin has priority here. We'll have to see how they call it. Getting caught a little bit behind the foam there as Vasquez kicks out, but he just doesn't have a lot to work with there. But he's you can see as he's kind of shying away, shielding his face from the spray of the foam coming off there. We have the wind starting to kick up into probably the 25-mile-an-hour range, so certainly making for challenging conditions here. Tamil finding the pocket there, right into a little reverse maneuver. Nice on the crossbow, showing some flair. A couple different maneuvers here, and coming up off the top for a little micro floater, cutting back into a little tail slide. Let's see what he's got on the inside here. Changing up his paddle here for some transitions on the inside as he comes in close to his fan base, Team Mexico on the beach, certainly cheering him on.
Yeah, I would dare say that's going to be the highest score of the day. Not the day, but this heat. That was a really nice wave. Lots of variety. Threw in that little reverse, roundhouse cut back in the reverse and rode it all the way to the beach. So, we're probably going to see a replay right now of that last wave. And here we see it really windy out there right now. It's super hard, and does this nice cut back into the foam and then throws it into the reverse using that paddle and popping the fins. As we see the applause from the beach, and using that paddle to find some speed, he's going to go up and nice little lip line floater into another cutback, releases the fins, and just really making the most of this wave. Another little cutback into the foam there, and looks pretty happy with himself, as you would be. That was a really nice wave, and he's going to get rewarded for that.
Absolutely beautiful surfing there for the Peruvian Tamil Martino Marchand, up and riding now in black. Tahui Vasquez from Mexico.
Yeah, just got stuck in the foam there, just a little too much, and the wave wasn't really offering too much anyway, so it's not really going to change up anything out there. He needs, he has a 4.87 and 3.3. This heat is really tight for the transition spot, so it's these last few heats have been really competitive all the way through from first to fourth.
As they should be, and because these are the top two that have advanced from round number one, or qualifying round number one, now sitting in heat for qualifying round number two of the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle Surf Competition. Plenty more rounds coming to you, so keep your eyes glued to the screen and bookmark the page. And make sure you look to our official website, the isawppc.com, for all the updates on everything that's happening with daily photos, videos, and words to complement our live broadcast right here. My name's Dan Gavir, joined by 10-time Molokai prone paddleboard champion Jamie Mitchell. It's been a great trip so far, and just looking forward to a great week of stand-up paddle surfing. And we got quite a bit of racing coming up at the mid next week, so looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, as we see the Peruvian up again. He's just over everything right now. He's feeling the groove. That wave wasn't great, but he's keeping busy, and that's obviously his MO. He wants to keep busy, wants to keep surfing, keep loose, and it's working for him right now. So as we see the Peruvian team on the beach showing all their support, the nice flag there, and it's great to see. That's what it's all about. This is all the teams from all the different countries showing the patriotic support and cheering each other on, and it can be a bit of a individual sport, but it's really nice to ISA have the World Championships and just bring all the teams together. And I remember the last 2 years when I captained Australia, it was an amazing event to be part of, and I'm sure these guys here are all really proud to represent their country.
Absolutely, and it is a great thing that brings the whole community of stand-up paddling together from all corners of the earth, if you will. So with 28 countries competing, we've got great participation and probably about a 30 to 40% increase over last year. So this event is pacing with the sport, Jamie.
Yeah, as we see Venezuela right there on our screen, the Venezuelan flags flying high and proud, and supporting their guy Francisco. So it's awesome to see, and it's just nice to really get to talk to people from other countries and and mingle and mix with these guys. You don't get to see them all the time, so it's a once a year thing where we all get together, and it's, as much as it's competition, it's great camaraderie and get into that team spirit.
And with a great call, Jamie, Tamil Martino dropping a 5.90 on that second to last wave. So, really making the most of a good variety of tricks, and that's exactly what the judges want to see out here, not just one trick ponies, but the guys and the women who can do it all. They can surf front side, they can surf backside, they can mix it up with a bit of longboard style and some explosive shortboard style maneuvers, and obviously the utilization of the paddle is key to being a top paddler out here.
Yeah, as this heat winds down, the hooter goes off, and it looks like unofficial results will be Tamil from Peru in first and Colin McPhillips in second, advancing. So, really the two form surfers in that heat picked the best waves, and just as we see, Denmark there? Is that Denmark flag? There we go. So, and the heat recap, here we have Tamil starting off very fast, in that nice wraparound cut back into reverse, and really showing a really good repertoire of moves, and judges rewarding him with some good scores. So Colin McPhillips up and riding. Colin finishing in second, and just that smooth style from the longboard background for Colin, and back up into a nice carving turn, a little bit of fin release, and Colin doing just enough to get through, and he'll advance.
That's right, our ISA recap right here, brought to you by the International Surfing Association, and an amazing team of ISA staff and professionals here running the whole show, from the judging to the logistics to the actual webcast here. It takes a team of professionals to put on a production of this caliber, especially one that's in two locations. So as we see Tamil absolutely destroying that last wave for a 5.90 on the heat recap, it's no surprise that he finds himself on the top spot, followed closely by Colin McPhillips. My name's Dan Gavir, joined by Jamie Mitchell, and we'll be right back from Nicaragua at the ISA 2014 World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships. Don't go away. Jody's got the eye for it, coming unglued there a little bit as he slides the fins out on that that nice looking board there. It looks like he's on about an 8.0 or a 7.10, and he's really looking comfortable on that board today. But don't discount Lucas Medeiros or Carlos Bahia, the Brazilians. They've got a lot of game, and the Brazilians are certainly known for their wave surfing prowess. So,
well, Lucas, you see both the Brazilians on screen right now. Lucas is in yellow, and Carlos is in white. And Lucas just 19 years old, Carlos sitting at 30 years old, and both of these guys are on really, really, really narrow boards. So. That's one thing I noticed when I walked down here this morning. They each had their boards under their arms like normal surfboards, so you can see they're working pretty hard. Either one of them can't stay still because their boards will just sink. So that's why you see them constantly paddling, keeping their eye out on the lineup. You can see their boards are just sinking in the water, but once they do catch a wave, they're able to be a lot more maneuverable on the waves.
And now we have a bit of a paddle battle here. Casper Steinfath on the inside. Will he take priority there? I don't even think Lucas saw him, but he comes to his inside. He could take that wave away, but it's just not going to jump up for those guys as it sits back down on the outside. Maybe have something rolling in, but they are battling some wind.
The difference there, you can see the difference with Casper's equipment and Carlos.
Very much so, and Justin Bing looking for something on that one. Didn't offer up too much scoring potential. He kicks out and manages somehow to stay upright on that board, even though most of it's underwater.
Well, his backup score came in at a 4.73, so he's got a solid position there in first place with a 4.73 and a 6.67. So now it's up to Casper, Lucas, and Carlos to battle it out for that second position. Right now, Casper Steinfath out of Denmark is sitting in that second position with a 3 and a 3.13. So he hasn't really gotten his campaign started. But Lucas is sitting in a really good spot there from Brazil in yellow jersey right there. He's got a 4.50, which he's only got one wave, but that's a pretty good scoring wave. It's better than either one of Casper's waves. So
a nice little set out the back there. Let's see who can get into position for this one. Looks like one of the better sets we've seen in the last 15 or 20 minutes here. So let's see who can capitalize on this one and put some digits on their scorecard. Looks like Lucas is in a good position here to take off on this wave. Let's see if he goes left or right. Looks like he's going to go right onto his backside, the goofy footer. Nice slashes off the top, switching the paddle. Nice transition right off the lip under the most powerful point of the wave in the pocket, as we call it. Another nice slashy little cutback roundhouse there, riding it all the way to the beach. This should be an excellent backup score for Lucas. The 19-year-old has only been surfing for 2 years, sponsored by Wizard, Amox X, Energicito, Sendre, and Coquijo.
Well, Team Brazil and Team South Africa representing 3 of the guys out there. Brazil's got 2 guys out in the water, and Justin Bing representing South Africa with just 9 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock. You can see a little bump coming in down, and it looks like Justin Bing is in pretty good position for this one.
That's right, and it looks like Lucas trying to maneuver out of his way. Good sportsmanship right there. These paddlers each, trying to give each other a little bit of room. Everyone equals or deserves an equal chance to get the best scoring opportunity they can. And just like yesterday at the opening ceremonies, we had Lincoln Dews representing all the athletes and taking the oath of good sportsmanship at the opening ceremonies. And that's really what it's all about is the sportsmanship of all the athletes here. And that's what brings this community together as one. So it's a lot of fun to surf with fellow stand-up paddlers from all over the world, and we all share the same passion.
You can see red and white taking a little break there. These guys are on such small boards, but it looks like Casper's on maybe like a little bit of a wider board because he's not
I think so. You know, Casper's a little bit taller. He's over 6 foot, so he's a little bit larger than your average. And up
There's a
next in
good
our next heat,
example of the paddle size there when Hironobu has the paddle down. It's the same height as he is. Sorry, I didn't mean to
absolutely,
interrupt you,
and that's what we've been talking about. The shorter paddles
Yeah.
certainly lend themselves to the shorter boards and that more dynamic shortboard style of surfing. So there with a little graphic up for what we can plan on coming up next in heat number 6. But right now, with 8 minutes left, we're looking at a situation with Justin Bing in the lead. Looks like Lucas Medeiros needs a 5.41, certainly attainable to take over that top spot. Right now, Justin Bing kind of eyeing out this wave, getting some nice drive down the line on the right. Regular footer now just kind of fading back towards the foam. Looking for some speed, but just losing it a little bit there as he committed a little bit too hard to the rail. His board going one way and his body going the next. So little shot there. Carlos Bahia just kicking off that last one. He needs to find some love from the ocean and pick a good wave with only a couple low-scoring waves. He knows he's got some work to do to get himself into an advancing position. Lucas Medeiros up and riding. Going for that little flat spin reverse maneuver. Not quite pulling it around. Looks like we may have a replay coming up for our last score of white. We just caught the tail end of it there, so let's give it a fair play here. And as we take a look, tell us what we're seeing.
Yeah, that's Carlos Bahia on his backhand. He really uses that paddle well to pivot around, extend his body, and get a nice turn. And comes back around for a little cutback. And it'd be interesting to see if these guys the two Brazilians are riding hand-shaped boards. They look like it to me. But you know, that's what you need with this. I mean, it can be a benefit for this high-performance surfing, but when you
It's
start
tricky.
getting into those narrow boards, it does get really tricky. As we see, this next heat's going to be super exciting. We saw the two Tahitians come out, and they just flew in last night, no jet lag. And we saw Ponaki Ranaha, who's going to be in the red jersey there. You see him. He's just 17 years old, and he absolutely dominated his first heat. He had a 7.90, and he has the highest heat total of the day so far at a 14.97. And in yellow, we're going to be seeing Brandon Ribnick out of South Africa, and we're going to have the other Tahitian surfer you see right there, Tama, who's 36 years old, the elder statesman of young Ponaki, who just absolutely put on a clinic earlier. And then we also have our Japanese surfer coming up, Hironobu Horakashi, who had a great first round heat as well, and he's going to be wearing the white jersey in the next heat as we see black paddle into this one.
Casper Seinfath taking off, the 2013 technical race world champion, often sliding down this left with a nice little floater there. Might have actually got the fins free just a little bit, and not bad performance there. Taking off on that left, he is a goofy footer. Also worthy of mention is that very closely contested second place in the distance race. He was able to really catch up to Jamie Mitchell and almost run across the line for the win, but taking the silver last year, Casper Steinfath really put an impression on the whole stand-up paddle surfing world in his ability to not only race, but to also surf. So he's out here representing his home country of Denmark.
That's right. Casper, very talented racer, very talented SUP surfer, and his little brother's here as well, 17-year-old Peter Steinfath. So cool to see the whole family's coming out. Team Denmark building a pretty impressive team. And as we see some of the French team there, and they've been putting on a pretty good performance here in Nicaragua as well.
Absolutely, and certainly a shoe-in to take the gold medal in the team competition. I think we've seen some very strong performances from both the Frenchmen and some of the French women as well. So they brought their ultimately their the best possible team they could, and they're bringing their A game with their race team and with their SUP surfing team. and with their paddleboard paddlers. And here we see some of the traditional fishing boats coming in here through the surf. No easy task for some of these boats, probably weigh a couple thousand pounds, so they have some pretty creative ways to get them in and out of the surf there, so they can get out and maximize their time on the water and potentially catch a lot of fish. I just had a delicious fish lunch, very traditional, with fried plantains, and yeah, it's a lot of fun here in Nicaragua, and just experiencing every part of the culture, from the weather to the food to the people. It's just been a really great experience so far, Jody.
Well, with just 3 minutes remaining, just under 3 minutes remaining in this heat, the situation, we've got Justin Bing from South Africa in red, holding down that lead with a 4.73 and a 6.67, and in second place in yellow, Lucas Medeiros, a 4.5 and a 6.0, and this is our man in third place. Trying to scratch into that one, Carlos Bahia. He's looking for a 5.61 to advance, and Casper Steinfeth up and riding here on this right. He is looking to improve on his 3.17. He needs a 7.37 to advance. So with just 2 minutes and 22 seconds remaining, Casper's going to need to get himself on a big set wave and do something very impressive to get himself into that advancing position.
That's right. That last wave was just not going to quite do it. Came unstuck with a creative dismount there at the end of his wave, but with 2 minutes left, he's got his work cut out for him. So the Brazilians, towards the end of the round here, moving into those second and third spots respectively, bumping Casper into fourth. Justin Bing remains on top with that opening wave score of a 6.67, which would probably put him in top 10 scores for the day.
And this is our man in third place, Carlos Bahia, looking for a 5.51 to advance. His teammate, Lucas Medeiros, is in second place right now. So we'll see if Carlos can improve on his 3.17. But I'm not sure that's going to be the ticket with just 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining in this heat. We've got one more heat in this round coming up. It's going to be a really good one. We lined it up for you a second ago, but we've got the two Tahitians as well as Japanese surfer Hironobu Huakashaki. I'm saying that wrong. As we see Casper Steinfath up and riding. We'll also see Brandon Ribnick from South Africa in that next heat. But Casper looking for that 7.33. He's getting his fins loose. He knows he's got to put it all on the line with just 40 seconds left in this heat. But, Dan, I'm not sure this is going to do it.
Yeah, that wave just kind of closed out on him. Didn't give him a whole lot of opportunities there. It did a little tail slide there just for fun. I think, he's always got a smile on his face, but now he's got his work cut out for him. Getting sent to the reprecharge rounds. And for some, that might be more of a blessing than a curse, because it gives you more time on the water. It gives you more experience in a competition setting and gives you a little more familiarity with the conditions, and it keeps you on your board surfing a little bit more. So for some, it can be a blessing, and for others, maybe not so much, because you're going to have to spend a lot more energy to get yourself into that contestable final heat for the championship.
Well, and this is a victory lap from our leader, our heat winner. This is Justin Bing out of South Africa. The vuvuzelas are blowing. You see that South African, that's the Brazilian flag, but the South African team is right down there on the beach to greet Justin as we see his heat recap. Justin had a couple of great waves. This was probably his 6.67.
Yes, this was his first wave and his highest scoring wave, and you can see why he was really selective. Got a great wave right off the bat, but remained in the pocket and did some really powerful maneuvers there. Not just not even missing a beat there. And again, you see him really surfing off the front foot a little bit more than maybe some of our other surfers. As he keeps that front foot planted, he moves that back foot forward and back. So kind of surfing from the middle of the board, and it takes a really great shaped board to be able to do that. So he's picked the right equipment for the job. And here we see in yellow Lucas Medeiros from Brazil on, I believe, his first wave with a nice little cutty right up underneath the lip on the crossbow, showing some good use of the paddle and really winding up that upper body to surf with a lot of spice and a lot of pizzazz. So he was awarded nicely and coming in second place. I think that's going to put a smile on his face, and certainly all of his countrymen from Brazil.
Well, when we come back, you're not going to want to miss heat number 6 of the World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships here with ISA at La Boquita in Nicaragua. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the beautiful country of Nicaragua for the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championship. We are at La Boquita Beach in surfing round men, qualifying round number 2, heat number 6. And let's introduce our surfers in this heat. So we have 2 Tahitians, 1 South African, 1 Japanese surfer. Our 2 Tahitians, one in red, Ponaiki Raioa in red, and Tama Adalbert in black. Hirokoshi will be in white, and Brendan Ribink will be in yellow. I'm Bo Hodge along with Jody Nelson. Welcome to the broadcast. Final heat of the second round qualifiers. So these guys have advanced earlier today, and now they're trying to get into qualifying round number 3. And there's Team Japan cheering on Hirokoshi-san.
So
And also has his sister competing.
is that his sister or his daughter? Because she's 15 years old.
Oh, well, then that's probably it.
And I think that's her right there holding the flag, cheering maybe, possibly her dad. We'll find that information out. As we see paddling into this one, Hironobu. I'm not good with my Japanese pronunciations, but he's pretty good at putting that thing right off the lip and cutting back, doing a nice little roundhouse, getting this little left on the inside, and a couple little, that nice little slash, that last hit, and he'll kick out. As we see the Tahitian contingent, this is Tama, who had a great performance earlier, Bo.
Yeah, and the Tahitians advancing on into the same round, so each team allowed 2 men and 1 female in the SUP surfing category, and both Tahitians advancing into this round, number 2, heat number 6. Well, let's watch the replay of first wave of Tama Adalbert. Nice carving as he gains some speed here, and there's the big hit.
He's kind of got a Sonny Garcia-esque build, Tama. You can see he's just throwing that board around with ease. You know, the wind kind of playing havoc on this wave a little bit, but nice control, keeping that board in the pocket there, Bo, and throwing some water around. So that he's got a big frame, a powerful frame. It looks, pretty muscular guy, and he's able to really just throw that board around.
A 4.33 for Tama as he paddles back out, has him in the lead. Tahitians are sitting 1 and 2. Tama with a combination scores of a 4.33 and a 2.33. Raioa in red on a one-wave score of 4.0, only needs a 2.67 to take first. And for our South African surfer, he registered a 2.83 on his opening wave. And Hirokoshi from Japan in white with a 2.43. Coming up next, we have our final 3 heats of the day. They'll be featured with the women in the qualifying round number 2. So our top ladies of the day will be rounding out competition for day number 1. So all qualifying rounds, and then coming up tomorrow, we're going to be starting with more qualifying and repechage rounds. So stay tuned, more exciting action. 3 full days of SUP surfing for men and women here at La Boquita in Nicaragua for the opening of the 2014 ISA World SUP Paddleboard Championship.
Well, Bo, our surfer in red, Panaki Raioa out of Tahiti, he came out blazing in that round one. He's got that 14.97 highest heat total of the entire day. He's still hanging on to that. He's just 17 years old, traveling with Tama Adu. How do you say his last name?
Adalbert.
And Tama's 36 years old, so he's old enough to be Panaki's dad. But it's just the two of them on the team. That's it. That's the Tahitian team. As we see Tama up and riding right now on this right-hander, cutting back, trying to make it through this flat section. He's going to do some S-turns, cut back into the whitewash, and wait for that wave to stand up on the inside here as he hits it off the lip, gets a nice re-entry there, and just tries to get one more whitewash bounce. But I think he's trying to see if he has a single reform on the inside. But
Well, this is the second year Tama has competed at the ISA World Surfing Championships, as he competed last year, finishing 11th, so did quite well, advancing through the qualifying and repechage rounds. So he knows what it takes to do these double elimination rounds. Remember, 3rd and 4th are not eliminated in this round. They're delegated into the repechage round, which will be cut down from 20-minute heats to 15-minute heats. So as long as you stay in the winner's round and the qualifying rounds, you continue with the 20-minute format. But the repechage rounds coming up tomorrow, you're going to see them being delegated to 15 minutes, so quick turnarounds for their heats. There's a coastline as we're looking due south there, the cliff area. A beautiful coastline here in Nicaragua. Watch the paddle out the back. Ponaiki taking advantage of this wave. The young 17-year-old Tahitian, nice carving turn, throwing the tail with some spray. Gaining some more speed here, back into the whitewater section. Now setting up for his next maneuver. He's looking down the line here, Jody, to see what he can do.
yeah, you can see he just kind of stalled and waited for that wave to stack up and got back into the steep part of the wave. He's doing a couple roundhouse cutbacks, just comes unstuck right there. But you can see the board just is a great extension under his feet, and we'll get some dimensions on what he's riding for you guys for the next round that he surfs, as we see taller guy here. We've got Brandon Ribnick out of South Africa, and definitely different build than the than the Tahitian guys. And he's got a nice right-hander here. Good little off the lip to finish that wave off. And Brandon is currently sitting in that 3rd position, and he's just got one wave under his belt, a 2.83. So he's just looking to build his campaign right now.
Yeah, Brandon from New Pier in Durban, the home of the old Gunston 500 that they used to hold down in South Africa, now being converted to the Mr. Price Pro and being moved up from Durban up to Balado, a prime event on the SP World Tour. He's been surfing for 30 years. He's 43 years old. He is the world Malibu champion in Malibu paddleboard. So he's converted from paddleboarding, longboarding, surfing into SUP surfing now, and representing Team South Africa, which took the silver medal last year as the second best team competing at the ISA World SUP Paddleboard Championships. Up and riding, here we go. Hirokoshi from Japan.
That's right. He's goofy footer going on his backhand here. Got a nice little right-hander as he's continuing to do a series of cutbacks. Utilize that paddle to pivot himself and get some, get his board on rail. And he's just being patient here, waiting to see what the wave's going to do. And he kicks out, and he's currently sitting on a 2.43. The young man out of Japan, he's 46 years old, I believe. And we think that that's his daughter cheering him on, 15-year-old, that's competing in the women's division.
So last wave for Raioa out of Tahiti, the young 17-year-old, a 6.5 has moved him into the lead, and he's up and riding right now. This will be his 3rd wave, taking it on his backhand. Big bottom turn, nice carving maneuver off the top with aggression. Here he goes, a little bit of bump on the open face, but now transitioning the paddle, both forehand, backhand, mixing it up, and that's what the judges like to see. The use of the paddle right over the rocks, as the tide is starting to fill in this afternoon. Banks it one more time, slides the tail around. This is going to be a good scoring wave. Could improve on his opening ride of a 4.0.
Yeah, that was a great ride for Ponaki. He, was really able to get those fins free on that last turn, and he's utilizing the paddle really well by, bringing it across the bow of the board, or, we call it a cross bow turn, and just becomes like a second nature thing for these guys. And as you can see, that's the cross bow turn right there, where he brings it across the nose of the board. He'll do it again right here, pivoting around to be able to really put that board on rail. And let's watch here, Bo. As he sets up for this last maneuver, you'll see he really digs that paddle in and pivots around and is able to slide the tail out. We're not there quite yet. Here's where he got fins free and just released. And that's what the judges want to see. They want to see that progressive
live action. There's
progressive surfing.
Hirokoshi up and down. So scores starting to come in for the young Tahitian. And that's in the excellent range, Jody, and they like the variety and the combination of maneuvers and the transitions there. And that's what the judges are looking for, is speed, power, and flow, just like regular surfing, putting the surfer in the critical conditions of the wave and doing controlled radical maneuvers, but also using the paddle to your advantage in the transitions.
Well, and what he didn't do is switch his hands back and forth with the paddle. And that's what some people don't have, that cross bow turned down. And so they're constantly switching hands. And when you do that cross bow and you're keeping your paddle in one hand, it's a lot smoother looking. And not a lot of switching back and forth. So he did a really good job to utilize the paddle in that wave.
An 8-point ride for Raiola. He ties the best one-wave score posted by Jackson Close earlier this morning. So an 8-point ride, a 6.5. He has a two-wave combination now of a 14.5, and that is second best. So he has the best one-wave and the second best two-wave score. And guess what? He's probably the best performer of the day, because only one other guy has beaten him, and that's himself in round number one, with a 14.97, as he's registered a 14.5 here in round two. Here we go. Brandon Ribbink, up and riding from South Africa.
Well, Brandon's on a really good size right-hander, and he's got a couple good turns off the lip. He's going to cut back, do a little roundhouse, rebound off the whitewash, wait for this wave to stand back up, cutting back again, and waiting for the reform on the inside, although I'm not sure it's happening. But he's got a little double up here, and he might get one last section. And he does. Brandon, maybe even a bonus section here in the very inside. And he kicks out right next to the beach, right next to the Vuvuzelas, as we see white out the back.
Yeah, this is Hirokoshi out of Japan. He has a 3.37 and a 2.43 registered right now. Good rebound off the whitewater section. Changes up paddle, but he has a closeout section and not much scoring opportunity. Now finding the open face. Slides the tail back around. And Hirokoshi currently in third place, needing a 4.73, but we're on standby for two-wave scores, last of yellow, Brandon Ribbink. So a thruster set up for our Japanese surfer in this heat. And there's your heat leader, Raiola, the young 17-year-old out of Tahiti.
Well, it's great to see these young guys coming up out of the woodworks. At just 17 years old, Ponaki dominating competition today. As you can see, he's just releasing those fins and just having a little bit of fun. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to touch him in this heat. He's got that 6.5 and an 8, and like you said, it's the highest heat total of the entire day. And he got a 14. He did get a high score in heat in his round one, so he's just on track to do the same here.
Well, here he's very consistent. His four-wave totals have come up in both rounds in the 14-point range, so he's very consistent. And look at the aggressiveness of his paddling back out, getting over these bumps and chops, sizing up this wave. He thought about turning around, catching this next wave, and he decides not to. I think I'll go back out, wait for some of the bigger sets. A 4.67 for Brandon Ribbink, and he moves from fourth to second place. So we're on standby for last of Tama Alibert. He needs a 4.05, and scores coming in just under that at a 3.83. So here's your situation. In first place is Raiola in red. In second place is Ribbink in yellow. Alibert in black in third, now needing a 4.05. And Hirokoshi in white in fourth, needing a 5.0. There's the breakdown. Red, yellow in first. Black and white in second, needing scores. Time remaining 5:23, counting down.
Yeah, Tama's got himself in an interesting predicament here in that third place position. He had a great round one heat, as well as Panaki, but if he doesn't make it, as like we said, he's going to go the repecharge round. He'll have to surf a lot more heats, but he'll still have the opportunity to make it all the way to the finals. As we saw about a minute ago, we saw on the beach Emmy Merrill out of the United States getting ready for her heat. As we see also, that's in black, that's Jenny Kallenbach. She'll be up against Diane Wenzel and Caroline Angabad, and it's going to be a really exciting heat. Emmy's she was surfing really well in her first round. Jenny Kallenbach had tough conditions in her heat. It was like the wind really picked up in her heat, so it'll be great to see her get back out there. She's representing Costa Rica. And Diane Wenzel, I'm going to go out there and say had a shocker in her first round heat, because I know Diane's capable of much better things. So hopefully she has reassessed, taken a step back, and has a better strategy for this next round. But it's going to be a tough heat.
There's our leaders out in this heat with 4 minutes remaining. Red in first, yellow in second. Yellow has position, so red has to adhere. So Brandon Ribbing has a chance to move into the lead, but he needs a near perfect score of a 9.83. Nice carving turn back into the whitewater section. Now building us some speed. Banks it off the whitewater. Can he get out to the open section? He's making his way down the line, and he does find the open wave section now. Carving back in. Nice carving turn off the top, releasing the fins. There he goes one more time in the short break area. Banks it right on the closeout section, so definitely not going to be a 9.83, but he could stabilize his position for second place, which is more important.
That's right. He doesn't want to get bumped down into that repecharge round, and we've got Tama. Tama is just sitting in that third place position, but he does need a 4.05 to advance. Pretty much Panaki's untouchable, because everybody else needs a near perfect score, a combination of scores to get in that first place. But in white, Hironobu only needs a 5.0 to take over Brandon Ribnick's position, and Tama only needs a 4.42.
So last wave score does reposition Ribbink in better position in second. He betters his 3.7 with a 4.07. So now for Tama Adalbert, needing a 4.42, and for Hirokoshi from Japan, now requiring a 5.37. And there's the Republic of South Africa, flying their flag proud and strong for second place contender right now in yellow. Brandon Ribbik out of Durban, South Africa, the 43-year-old in yellow, paddling back out into the lineup. 2 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. So what a performance from the young 17-year-old. He's been probably the informed surfer of the day.
Definitely. I think everybody's got him on their radar now. They're like, probably didn't even know who this kid was, 17 years old, hasn't been surfing that long, and boom, he comes out and just completely dominates today. He just got off a plane late last night, and no jet lag. He's just straight into it, and is pretty much showing everybody he's here. He means business, and he knows how to get the scores.
And we've seen Jackson Close with a great performance today. Sebastian from Peru, Hector Gonzalez from Mexico, Bo Nixon, very solid. Antoine Del Perro, great 2 heats. Probably the shocker of the day, our defending gold medalist Sean Pointer, and had a chance to talk to Sean and asked him what was going on, and he couldn't say. He said, I can't tell you anything. I can't put one finger on it. I don't know what happened. It was a shocker of a heat for me, but I'm still in it, and I'm in it to win it, he said.
Yeah, he really got off to a good start in that heat by getting himself in interference, and then just kept digging himself a ditch. So, I'm hoping that Ian Cairns can kind of smack some sense into him, and he can kind of, take a step back and reassess his approach. And to me, it just seems like he's gotten into his own head too much, and he's overthinking things, and just needs to go out and have fun and surf.
3 paddlers could be black on the inside. Tamba Alibert, remember, he's in third place, only requiring a 4.42.
That's right. He starts that wave with a nice off the top, straight out of the back, and then this wave kind of dying out. He's cutting back into the whitewash to see if he can get this reform on the inside, but he's a big guy, and this is a pretty small wave. So I'm not sure that this wave is going to offer him the potential to get the 4.42 that he needs to advance.
And remember, he was on the inside portion, so the wave selection not ideal, but still trying to perform here with some speed and generating that last maneuver right on the shore break. Time counting down the final seconds here in the final heat of qualifying round number 2, and he gave it his all. And we'll be on standby for a call. And right now, the first 2 scores are not going to be in that 4.42 range. Scores coming in the 3 range, and it looks like that's where he'll stand. So one Tahitian will advance on, one South African out of heat number 6. And here's the heat recap, and this man was on fire. Not even a man yet, a young 17-year-old Raioa from Tahiti.
Well, everybody needs to be taking note of Panaki. He's putting on a clinic today. He's got the top 2 high heat totals of the day. He knows how to get the scores. The judges like what they're seeing from him. He's got real nice rail-to-rail surfing. His backhand surfing is amazing. He's really able to use that paddle to pivot around and cross-bow turn like that. And he even got his fins free on this wave. So throwing his board around, using the rail, and progressive surfing, and that's what the judges want to see, and he's being rewarded for it, Bo.
And here comes that maneuver you were talking about, generating speed, throwing the tail, spinning it around. And this man, too, Brandon Ribink from South Africa, also advances on.
Yeah, Brandon just had it. He surfed a smart heat as far as wave selection. You can see here he's on, a wave that's at least chest high. And he's got a nice, smooth, clean style. He's not doing anything too crazy. He's being, not doing anything progressive, but he's really doing a great job of that nice flow and keeping himself in the power source of the wave, and doing some nice off the lips right there as he gets that nice closeout maneuver on the inside.
So that rounds it out for the men qualifying round number 2. When we come back, we're going to take you through the last 3 heats of the day. It'll be the women's qualifying round number 2. You're watching the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships live from La Poquita in Nicaragua. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the beautiful country of Nicaragua for the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddleboard Championships. We are at La Poquita Beach in the surfing city here at SUP Surfing. And there's your gold medalist from 2012 from the United States, Emmy Merrill, and already getting on the board. And well, let's introduce our other surfers in this heat. This is heat number 1, qualifying round number 2. Diane Wenzel from Canada will be in white. Caroline Agabad from France in yellow, and this girl, Jenny Combach from Costa Rica, but hails from Kailua Kona from the Big Island, but having some Costa Rica roots. And Jenny, a winner of the 2008 Battle of the Paddle, one of the original SUP events.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Molokai champ as well. So
she's done it all.
She has done a lot, and yeah, it's funny seeing Costa Rica there by a name for Jenny, but she's been doing everything lately. She's been doing triathlons and all sorts of crazy stuff. So she's one amazing athlete.
That's the best thing about SUP surfing. You're seeing professional windsurfers, professional longboard surfers, yourself coming from the prone paddleboarding, big wave surfers, a lot of cross, Jenny, like you said, a triathlete in the, bike, swim, run portion of that. And you're seeing Ocean Ironman from Australia competing in these events. SUP surfing really offering a lot of great cross training where athletes can mix in this sport and their original sport.
Yeah, it's an amazing sport, from that perspective to see, Olympic gold medalists, Larry Kane and, Jimmy Terrell, 4-time Olympian. Larry's an Olympic gold medalist in the C1. And I just met Simon Whitfield, who's a Canadian who won the Sydney Olympics triathlon in Sydney, Australia, the first gold medal ever for triathlon. He was at the Carolina Cup and sold all his bikes and is now in the stand-up.
So he's got the bug. Here we go. Diane Wenzel from San Clemente, California, but with some Canadian roots up and down. We can tell you Emmy Merrill on her opening wave, a 4-point ride, a 4.5 for Caroline Agabad, surfer in yellow. And there's Jenny Combach. Here we go. Caroline, she made the final last year, placed 4th in last year's final.
I tell you, the French have a really strong team this year. I wouldn't say they're dark horses, but they're my pick for really, really, really challenging for the first place overall in this the ISA World Titles. I think Australia, South Africa, obviously USA are probably sort of right up there as well. But the French, they have a solid team.
Well, France, the United States, the USA last year didn't have a full team. This year really bringing out some of the big guns. Slater Trout, some of the long-distance paddlers. They come back strong with their SUP surfing crew, and especially this girl right here, Emmy Merrill, was a gold medal winner in 2012, did not defend her crown last year, and she's very consistent. Great lower body turns, pivot turns, nice carving turns. She's very technical in her surfing.
Yeah, she can see she's got that, real sort of stocky body type, and she's low center of gravity, is really able to get low and really strong. And so, she's obviously the surfer to beat. She's won it before, and showing good form in these early rounds.
So Emmy paddling back out will be on standby for her second wave score. Second wave score coming in for Caroline in yellow, a 2.2, and we're on standby for last of Jenny Combach, also her wave score. Hopefully not keepers here. They're all in the low range, but still early time of this 20-minute heat, 13:45 counting down. Coming up next, we'll have our second and third heat of this round, a total of 3 heats. The top 17 women are starting today, and now we have our top 12 competing in the qualifying round. There's Jenny Combach, just not able to get onto that wave.
It just goes to show how hard it is. You got BOP and a Molokai champ, and she's not even getting into waves. So, but it looks like the wind's laid down a little bit again from the last heat that I commentated. It looks like that's really interesting. A heat will come by and the wind fluffs up and makes it tough. And this heat looks like the wind's just laid down a little bit, and maybe we'll see that trend for the rest of the day, just the rest of the afternoon, where the wind is backing off. But challenging conditions into the right, wind's blowing up the face, and as we see, yellow again in Caroline, and that's a nice smooth open face there. A couple of nice little check turns back into the power source, and she'll just try and paddle herself into this inside section, get one more turn for the judges, and it's a nice little ride. She'll back up her first high score of 4.5 with that ride, so that puts her in a good spot for this round.
Let's watch Jenny Combach right here in perfect position for this wave. A set wave on the outside. Nice starting off here, tapping the top of the nose. Banks it one more time off the top, but not able to make the transition there, and she's having a hard time in the early days here in this heat. 1.83, 2.73 back up. She's currently in third place, now needing a 3.98.
Yeah, it's hard. I jumped on my 8.0 this morning, and it's the first time I've jumped on my stand-up surfing board for a long time, and I just done a downwinder from the hotel, but I had a hard time just balancing it, and I'm sure Jenny hasn't been doing too much stand-up paddling, surfing, a lot more paddling. So it takes a while to get your feet. You get your sea legs, and I'm going to try and get out this afternoon and get mine back because there's some swell on the way. But you know, it just looks like she hasn't been on the board all that much lately. So hopefully she can just, you know, get her sea legs and start to connect some turns.
Well, Emmy Merrill in the lead, a combination of 4-point rides. She has a 4.0 and a 4.33. That gives her an 8.33 two-wave total. Caroline Agabad, copper medal winner from last year, in second place with a 4.5 and the 3.17. She now needs a 3.83 to go to first. In third, Jenny Comback now needs a 4.94 to go up to second. And for Diane Wenzel, she now needs a 6.6 to advance. So 11 minutes remaining. And there's your heat leader, Emmy Merrill from the United States, stroking in, determined to catch this wave. And the wave just doesn't bump up. The tide's starting to fill in here.
Yeah, it definitely looks like there's a in-between size. It's like you don't want to be surfing right on the low tide, obviously, and now we've had that nice conditions with the tide pushing in, and now it could just be getting to that section of the tide being just a touch too high. But yeah, these girls will make it work, and as you say, you know, everyone's got to surf the same conditions. So, you know, a little bit fuller, but the girls, you know, Emmy's still making, you know, good work of this with 2 pocket 4s.
Well, just taking a look at the girls coming up in the next heat, 3 of them finished in the top 8 from last year, and there's our surfer from South Africa stretching out, getting ready for her heat. That is Taryn Kite. And we've got Shakira coming up in that heat, along with Karen Jacobson and Brisa Malaga from Peru.
Yeah, that's going to be a great heat because Taryn surfed great in that first round, and as we see Caroline again, nice use of the paddle there. You see it change hands, and then a nice little slash there, and she's going to try and just get this inside section, get another crack off the top. Nice little turn again. And yeah, not a bad little wave. You hear the crowd cheering, so getting behind the French woman.
Well, she needs a 3.83 to go to first. She improves on the 3.17. She keeps her second place standing. Here we go, Jenny Comback, paddling. Can she get into this one, Jamie? Yes, she does.
Yes, she does, and she's going to opt to go, I was going to say left, but now right. And Jenny just, that's a double whammy. That's... I've broken my ribs like that, and hopefully Jenny's okay, but that looked very dangerous there, and it looks like she's fine. But, yeah, just that wind, you know, the wind blowing, you got to be so careful that, you know, the boards are so light these days that, you know, it can be very dangerous. But getting back to heat 2, you know, Karen Jacobson from Mexico and Brisa Malaga from Peru. I was just talking to Shakira, and she said she's surfing really well, and, you know, Shakira the second place, you know, from the last 2 years. So that's a stacked heat, and it'll be interesting to see those girls go at it.
Well, it's a very important heat here, you know, down to the top 12 surfers who have not lost yet, and if they advance on through, you know, you got the top 6 advancing on into the qualifying round number 3. So very important heat for these ladies, and making it out today and keeping their hopes alive for a gold medal by Tuesday.
And just confidence-wise too, it's just nice for these. You know, it's nice to get out and, you know, win a couple of heats, get a couple of waves, and, you know that your board's working well. And, you know, as much as anything, if the girls can get through, but, you know, they're feeling out their equipment and, you know, feeling good about themselves, confidence goes a long way.
Here we go, paddling, taking a look on the right. That is Diane Wenzel, not able to connect. And here we go in red, dominating in this heat. Former gold medal winner from 2 years ago, Emmy Merrill, not able to get on this. We'd like to thank our sponsors for making this all possible for the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championship, presented by Entour, Nicaragua's Ministry of Tourism. Also being sponsored by Avianca, Voss TV, and Tigo, along with Channel 6 here in Nicaragua. Our media partners include SUPRacer.com, Sophos, Latin America's leading surfing publication, Passion Extrema on Fox Sports Latin America, and SUP Club, along with Waves Brazil.
Yeah, as we see Emmy up and riding again, and that's a nice little top turn. She's going to carve back into the white water, and another nice wave for Emmy. She's finished off with a floater to a little knee drop and another little closeout re-entry, so I'm sure that's going to improve her position in this heat, and the crowd going wild.
Well, it's good to see Ian Kearns heading up Team USA, Jimmy Terrell. You know, for the distance part, you got great knowledge there, and those two guys right there as your coaches.
Yeah, that's as we see actually yellow up and right, and Caroline again. But that wave's going to just get away from her. Oh, no, she's going to paddle into that. There you go. You got great use of the paddle there. She's going to get this bonus section on the inside. Nice turn, but just not finishing off that turn. But, yeah, look, wow, you know, 4-time Olympian, you know, the coach of the US team. And I know they're right now, they're at the lake and they're preparing. They're looking over the course, and Jimmy's putting them through their paces. So they're going to be hard to beat. The USA's got a strong team.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if Jimmy one year paddles for Team USA.
Yes.
he's still a top contender in his age group.
Yeah,
isn't he?
I mean, if someone was to get sick or, you know, like couldn't paddle, you could put Jimmy in there and he knows how to race, he knows how to compete, and, you know, he's still a great athlete. So, you know, and then you got Kanga, you know, one of the bronzed Aussies. I don't know what he's, you know, residing in America now, so... But America's lucky to have him. You know, he's got a wealth of experience, and you know, I think he's been, you know, coaching Sean Pointer for a few years now, or helping Sean out. So, you know, they've got a powerhouse team and a powerhouse coaching staff.
Here we go, Jenny Comeback up and riding for Costa Rica, and like you said, Jamie, seems like she's just out of sorts. And here's our new heat leader. That's Caroline Agabad. She scored a 6.17 on her fourth scoring wave. That's moved her into the lead. That pushes Emmy Merrill down to second, needing a 6.34. So Caroline, fourth place last year, has some unfinished business, wanting to get back into that final and win the gold for Team France.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by like momentum, confidence, just getting a rhythm. Like, you know, she can go out of this round and she beats, you know, has beaten the former champion here and one of the former surfers. Well, you know, you go to bed, you sleep well at night, and you feel good about yourself. And, you know, come back tomorrow, and it's another day, but you move with that momentum and move with that confidence. And, you know, with surfing and anything competitive-wise, confidence and momentum is a really amazing thing to have.
Yeah, Caroline has been surfing for 18 years. She's 30 years of age from Vindy, France. Again, as we told you, the copper medal winner in the SUP surfing for women last year, being sponsored by Roxy and Hobie SUP and Octo SUP and MX3. So a lot of great support for her. And there's Team Canada cheering on Diane Wenzel.
I'm sure they're enjoying the weather coming from Canada. Nice and warm. I just spoke to one of the Great Britain team members, Ollie. I saw him in London last year, and they're struggling. Yeah, they're struggling coming from Great Britain to here. It's a big change of climate. So keep the water up, keep the fluids up, and put that sun cream on, because it is definitely hot and humid here in Nicaragua.
Well, Jamie, how about the expansion of the ISA, bringing in Latvia, and even Latvia supporting a SUP team here this year at the World Championships?
That's amazing, and I think I've said it, that Europe is the next. It's not the next big explosion. It's already happening. So, and these countries have so much history in kayaking and canoeing and paddling that it's natural for them. It's just a matter of, someone, or like you say, like getting over there and just showing them the way and what's possible. And, it just takes a couple of people, and then all of a sudden you've got teams from Latvia and all sorts of other nations that are starting to pop up. So I think it's amazing for the sport, amazing for ISA.
And two, you've been competing in Europe in some of these international SUP events. I mean, the turnout is huge, isn't it?
Oh, Europe's massive, and they love it. And, speaking of massive, that was a massive turn there by Emmy, and she's coming back with a vengeance with this wave. This was a really nice, clean-looking wave. It just had no wobbles or no ridges on it, and you can really tell the difference between the quality waves and the half-decent ones, and that was a quality wave. So.
And the best thing about that ride is she was in total control of every maneuver. No bump, no bobble. She was determined to get on track and get in sync with her rhythm.
Yeah, and you can see the really good surfers. Sometimes I feel it's nearly a hindrance from guys for example, like Joel Parkinson. He makes it look so easy when he surfs it. It looks like he's not trying, but to me, I just love that type of surfing. And Emmy was in control. She was smooth. She made it look easy. But that, to me, that's good surfing.
Well, Jenny Comeback currently in third place, needing a 5.87. You can see her struggling there to catch that last wave. She is a world champion distance paddler, and trying to do it all here for Costa Rica. But we're on standby for the last score for Emmy Merrill, and here we go. This is Jenny Conback now up and riding in black.
Yeah, Jenny had a couple of little turns there, but she's definitely just a little bit out of sorts. But you know, it's tough conditions out there. It's not, the waves aren't easy to judge and pick. So, you know, Emmy's, as we have a little bit of a reverse cockroach there. But look, it's not easy out there, and props to the girls. They're making it look really good. And as we see Emmy late takeoff, and wow, just a kick out. Yeah, that wave wasn't going to do anything for her.
But look how fast she got back out from that last wave. It was about a minute, maybe a minute, 30 seconds to get back out there. And there's your top two leaders right now, Caroline and Emmy. And scores coming in last for Emmy Merrill, a 5.87. So now she only needs a 4.81, but less than a minute to go. They have a solid control of 1 and 2 in this heat.
Yeah, I think they've definitely been the standout surfers in this heat. And like I said, I think right now all it is just bragging rights for who gets first. And it looks like Emmy doesn't want to give that up, and Caroline is going to try and hold that. But I don't think this wave is going to help Emmy's cause. But all the same, great surfing by Emmy, and she was a couple of really amazing waves there, and Caroline, wow. Well, we have a contest on in the women's surfing here in the stand-up world titles.
And this is only the first heat. I mean, our eyes were dropping at the lineup for the next heat, and then we got heat number 3 where we got the defending gold medalist coming up from Brazil, Nicola Pacelli, and the world windsurfing champion, Ibala Roano. And so all these 3 heats fairly equally stacked and drawn out, not one heat totally overstacked.
No, there's, I would say once you get to the semi-finals, those 8 girls, any one of those 8, could definitely be in the final and the potential to win.
Well, here's the heat recap. Heat number 1, qualifying round number 2, and Caroline Agabad won this heat with the great transitional maneuvers here. Watch her style. She has fluid transitions.
Yeah, she's just pumping to get through this flat section, a little foam climb, and again, see, she changes hands with the paddles. That's a nice change up. And another nice little turn in the pocket there. And she's just pumping that board to get on the inside to try and get one little turn off before the end. And again, just a nice finish. Judges like to see commitment at the start and, a nice finish.
And here's your gold medal winner from 2 years ago, Emmy Merrill from the United States of America. And she came out here with a mission.
Yeah, Emmy's a great surfer. She's showing, control, power. It's very smooth surfing, and this was one of the nicest waves of the heat that I saw. Just really nice and clean, had a nice face on it, and she surfed it about as good as she could surf it. So congratulations to those 2 girls. They surfed a great heat.
So there's the girls coming back on the beach. Costa Rica will see Jenny Conback in the repechage round, but you are watching the 2014 World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championship being brought to you by the ISA live from Nicaragua. Stick around. The final 2 heats of the qualifying women's round number 2 still yet to come.
And we're back. 2014 ISA World Stand-Up and Paddleboard Championships right here in La Boquita, Nicaragua. My name is Dan Gavir, joined by Jamie Mitchell, bringing you the last 2 heats of today's Day 1 competition. Right now, looking at the lineup in red, we've got Taryn Kite from South Africa, Karen Jacobson from Mexico, Brisa Malaga from Peru, and Shakira Westrup from Australia. Jamie, looks like another stacked heat. Should have some great action.
Yeah, definitely. It's and they're all goofies, it looks like, too. So, up now we have Brissa from Peru, and she's picked off a nice wave, and that was a nice turn to finish off that little closeout re-entry there, and she'll try and milk this to the inside and get a couple little more turns for the judges, and just getting a wave. Getting a wave right off the hooter is a good thing. So as we see, Karen Jacobson, just one little turn there, but just fell off. So 17 minutes to go. These girls will get plenty more chances for some good waves, and it looks like I was saying before, the wind has sort of cleaned up a little bit again. It was fluffing up a little bit before, but there's some really nice clean waves in that last heat.
Absolutely, and looks like these girls coming out swinging, and to get things going, looks like we might have a little replay here from Karen Jacobson's first wave.
Yeah, just a nice little check turn there and a little small cutback, but this wave sort of peters out, and she's going to try and do a little closeout section here, and just sort of gets hung up at the top there, and probably just tried to twerk that board just a little bit too far.
Did you say twerk that board?
Did I just say twerk?
I think you did.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
But here's Shakira Westrop from Australia, and defending silver medalist from last year, and I know she's been frothing to get on the lefts, and a couple of really nice turns from Shaq, and
nice.
riding that starboard, she just found a nice board under her feet, and she's pretty happy with that. So that'll be a nice score to start off for Australia's Shakira.
Do you know if she's on the 7-4?
She's on a 7-4. Yeah, I think her and Abella are surfing the same size board. So
yeah. And looking at the replay here, why don't you walk us through here? Shaq with some nice turns.
Yeah, first little hack, and then another sort of layback hack using the paddle. Sort of like three similar turns there, and then she just finishes off with the same little turn there. But up and riding red, Taryn Kite from South Africa, and all the girls are keeping busy. So this looked like it's going to be the heat we expected. Nice little turn there by Taryn. And she was going to try and finish off here with a little cutback and ride that right one right to the shore.
Looks like we have a little bit of a theme going on with that top bun, too. I thought they were wearing GoPros on their head, and then I realized there's some new hairstyle we got going. So,
yeah, it's, the girls, they're up with the style, especially with the twerking, But, no, we have scores dropping for Shakira, and it looks like it's going to be a good score for her second ride. And that's probably going to put her in the first place. She drops a 4.6, the highest single wave of the heat so far. So she'll be happy with that, and just need to consolidate. Like I keep saying, you only need 2 waves in the heat, so she might be able to be a little bit more picky right now. And all the girls have decent scores locked in, so right now it's a really tight heat.
That's right, with some of the top scores coming in from our ladies. Ibaya Ruano still holding down that top score of an 8.0. And also the second highest score matched that with Caroline Anjabad with a 6.17 and Emmy Merrill with a 5.87. So those are your 3 highest scoring wave rides for a single wave. And looking on here, let's see, looks like Karen Jacobson nipping at their heels at a 6.0 right now. Yellow taking a look. Malaga, I believe she's out of Peru.
Yeah, she's one little turn. She's going to do a nice little sort of like check turn there. Got the nose up and another one there, and just catches a little edge. But we have Taryn again. Just got the end of her wave there, right into the shore break. She's going to be picking the sand out of her ears tonight as we have Shaq up and going on a backhand. Oh, and just
losing her footing there off the back.
Yep. Forgot to tell her to put some wax on her board.
Yeah, maybe a tail kick pad. You see all kinds of different things being used out here. Some the paddlers opting for wax to keep that board nice and light. Others going for the traction pad, which is basically an EVA foam deck with some grooves and whatnot in it to give it more of a tactile feel. So a little bit different, equipment and preference depending on the rider. But seeing all kinds of different equipment being used and how to keep those feet stuck on the board is the
Yeah.
single most important thing.
Well, yeah, Shakira up and riding, and a couple of really nice turns there to start off with. And, I'm liking her backside surfing right now, Shaq. And like you say, it seems to me that everyone's going away from the pads now and starting to use the wax and just a tail pad. So I just think it gives you a little bit more your feet feeling on the board, a little planted more. So, I haven't tried that yet. I just like not having wax all over everything, So.
Yeah. You throw it in your friend's van, and they're like, dude, my gear bags are all covered with wax and stuff like that.
Chinese wax job all over the bottom of your boards,
Certainly, it's optimal for keeping the board lightweight, as that EVA foam tends to get wet and get a little bit heavier when it is wet. So I think we'll be looking at a little replay here of Shaq's last wave.
No, it's actually Taryn from South
I'm
Africa,
sorry.
yeah, but just a nice little top turn there, and she sort of got stuck behind the whitewater a little bit there, but gets out in front, just a nice little, little cut back, and then, yeah, not a bad little slash there right at the end, and as you see, she just kicks out right in the shore break, so she's milking it for as much as she can get, but, Taryn looks like she's going to drop another decent score there, and, she's in first place, so consolidating.
Absolutely. Looking like about 11 minutes left in this round, or I'm sorry, about 9 minutes left in this round. And got to send a big shout out to all of our sponsors out there, especially Intour, Nicaragua's Ministry of Tourism, Lux Dev, European Union, and Viva Nicaragua Channel 13, as well as our media partners, Surfers Village and StandUpLatino.com. Make sure you check them out online if you want to keep up to date with everything going on throughout the competition. Make sure to bookmark isawsuppc.com and hashtag ISA Worlds and hashtag WSUPPC, Instagram at ISA Surfing. So check it out on our social media outlets to keep up to date. And if you want to send a shout out to any of your friends from your neck of the woods, be sure to do so on any of those social networks. And I just got a shout out from some of my friends that have a gathering at the shop at OEX in Point Loma, where they've got a bunch of friends and some of the customers there watching the live broadcast right now. So big shout out to OEX and Eric Disk and everyone there in Southern California.
Yeah, as we saw a couple of waves ridden there, and Shakira just looks like she got a nice wave as well. So waiting for scores to drop, but Shakira consolidating in first place, it looks like, with a 4.2 and a 4.6. And Taryn Kite in second with a 3.93 and a 3.97, which leads Karen and Brissa in the transition spots trying to get to that second place. As we see a bit of a paddle battle.
That's right. Looks like Malaga in position for the left there, the goofy footer coming out of Peru. Let's see what Brisa has there. Nice little spray coming up off the bottom of her board there, trying to get into a little roundhouse cutback situation there. Just need to really turn that board a little bit more is what the judges are looking for, but a nice long ride there should be good enough to put a few more points on her scorecard.
Yeah, she's we're waiting for two scores to drop, and it looks very similar. But she needs a second score. You can't be left with one wave, and looks like that third ride is going to be similar to her first one, and that'll put her back in the game. So, we see Shakira paddling for a wave here, and looks like she's going to go right, and nice little top turn there, and she's going to bank off the top going left, and yeah, that was a weird looking wave. It didn't really do too much, and she won't be happy with that. But as you see, Karen, nice turn, but just coming unstuck.
Yeah, she was really committed, and she needed to redirect that board just a little bit sooner there, as her board was heading left and she was heading right. But situation right now is looks like Shakira on top with a combined score of 8.80, and Taryn Kite from South Africa with a 7.9, Karen Jacobson with a 6.0 from Mexico, and Brisa Malaga from Peru with a 3.17 with 8.5 minutes left to go. Again, got to thank Intour, Nicaragua's Ministry of Tourism, for as one of our main sponsors, Avianca, Voz TV, Tigo, Channel 6 in Nicaragua, as well as our media partners, SUPracer.com, Surfos Latin America's leader in surf publications, and Passion Extrema on Fox Sports Latin America, and last but not least, SUP Club and Waves Brazil for all their support there. Nice shot looking down the beach as the buildings swell and some of the surfers hitting the water down there.
Yeah, lots of kids swimming. It looks like a really nice beach culture, and I saw some lifeguards as I was paddling in this morning, and kids loving I mean, how can you not love it? This is where you want to be. It's so hot and humid here that the best place is in the water, so I'm going to try and get out there for a little session this afternoon myself to cool off.
I might have to join you out there, Jamie. Maybe catch a few fun ones. Looks like a nice family day on the beach to me.
Yeah. Sunday afternoon, Nicaragua. Where else would you want to be?
And Taryn having a look here at the right. The regular footer, I believe the only one in this round. Nice big deep bottom turn off the top. Dynamic surfing there by Taryn. Getting bucked a little bit by some surface chop, but hanging in there, keeping on her feet. And that's going to be good for some.
Yeah,
nice
that'll be
points
interesting.
there.
I'm really looking forward to this because that was a really, really good turn, and it was the first turn of the wave, so it's committed. The judges love that, and it'll be interesting to see if that one turn, creates a big score. So, yeah, it's interesting, but it's just a shame that the wave didn't sort of keep going, because if she was able to ride that through, she would would be up for a huge score.
And let's take another look at that as she drops in. Look at her gouge the rail of that board and right up underneath the lip into the critical section. Just tearing the top off that one.
Yeah, such a shame it didn't have any more to offer, but that first turn was committed and awesome, as we see Shakira just getting stuck behind the section there, but yeah, that wave, not much to offer for her. So, but Taryn, yes, that one maneuver, I think that was she throws down a 4.9, so, and that moves her to first place. So
rewarded nicely for that.
Rewarded nicely for that one big maneuver, which was just full commitment and top to bottom. So good for her. That was very nice surfing.
And now into the inside here. Some nice turns. They're coming in right into the beach here. For the viewing pleasure of our spectators here, we've probably got about, I'd say anywhere from 500 to 1,000 spectators here on the beach today. So very well attended from the spectator point of view. I think we're expecting millions of viewers on our live webcast, so make sure you go ahead and bookmark the official site on your web browser, isawsuppc.com, and join us every day. We've got 2 more days of surfing following the wrap-up of today, and then we're going to take a break on Wednesday, and then we're going to head into a couple days of very exciting racing action on Lake Nicaragua, which should be a lot of fun, and certainly will be heating up the team competition at that point for the remaining medals. That'll decide who's going to be taking home the gold medal and if Australia can hang on to it for another year.
Yeah, I think this year's going to be very tight. It's there's a lot of good teams. America's come fully stacked, and France is looking really strong. South Africa, I was looking through, looks strong, and Mexico's got a full team. And there's just then you've always got the locals. The local smokies like Peru done very well last year at their home, in their home country, and yeah, so it's going to be a tight team race, that's for sure. As we just saw Karen. Not a bad little wave there, just you didn't have too much to offer on the inside, but she got a couple of turns off the back, so she's looking to improve and try and get into that transition second spot there to go through to the next round.
And she's got a 3.5 on her scorecard, so if she can throw down at least another one of those, that should help her out quite a bit. She's going to need 5.3 to advance into that second advancing position. So again, if you're not top 2 in the second round of our stand-up paddle surfing competition, you will be seeded into a repecharge round and get another opportunity to advance and possibly win the whole event. So it's not over till it's over, and But really, you want to be in the top two. You want to save the energy and put yourself in a great position to win. You're going to get the top seed. You're going to get the red jersey, and that's certainly going to make a statement, if not a confidence builder for yourself, to your competitors that you're the person to beat, and you've been consistently performing throughout the competition, which obviously gives you the edge to win. But it's anyone's game.
Yeah, and you also want to have that chance of, if you have a bad heat, that you can lose and go through. You know, if you lose now, you only got one more opportunities. But if you keep winning, you know, the more opportunities you get later in the day. As we see Shakira, nice looking wave there. She's already done 2 or 3 nice turns, wrapping, cut back into the foam, little layback, and that's just going to consolidate Shakira's second spot, I would say. So, you know, good surfing by the girls. It's a pretty tight heat. One good wave can change it all. So it's not over yet. We still have 2.5 minutes left as we see Taryn Kite. She's been busy this heat, and she's selected probably the best waves, and she looks pretty happy.
Yeah, South Africa just dominating through the surfing rounds here, looking very good, solid with all of their riders. Here I believe we have Brissa.
Yeah, replay Brissa, and she gets a nice little half turn in the pocket. She foam climbs there. It's got pretty vertical, and the wave just sort of runs away in her a little bit. So two nice turns, and unfortunately just not enough for the rest of the wave to, you know, get any more off. You can see the girls paddling out on their stomach there. That just goes to show how strong the wind is, and just giving themselves a little bit of a rest.
That's right, and one more heat to go here in day number 1 at the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships here in La Boquita, Nicaragua. My name's Dan Gavira. I'm joined by Jamie Mitchell, and just about another 22 minutes to go here to where we wrap up the competition, but make sure you tune in for all the highlights, wrap-up of the whole event, photos and media on our official website. Make sure you hashtag ISA Worlds and WSUPPC on Instagram. Make sure you let us know who you're cheering for, and shout out to any friends or family in the competition out there watching and on the World Wide Web. A little bit of a battle for position here. Looks like Karen Jacobson up against Shaq, but Shaq fading into the left from the outside. I wasn't sure who was going right or left there. Maybe just kind of a defensive maneuver there.
Yeah, well, Brissa just dropped a 5, so that put her right back in, and so, you know, the heats are tight, and Shakira, that was a pretty, she hustled for that one, so leaving the girls out the back with 30 seconds remaining, but, you know, Shakira's holding on to second just by a thread, so.
Yeah, we'll have to see with that last 5 that Brissa dropped. That definitely bumped her up into that 3rd spot and into contention to take over 2nd place, but only 10 seconds left. And these ladies are battling for position here as they cross over on the peak. Taryn going left. Looked like Karen Jacobson going to the right. Unofficially, we've got Taryn Kite from South Africa taking the win. Shakira in 2nd place. Brissa in 3rd and Karen Jacobson in 4th, but all the scores have not dropped yet, so this could still change.
Yeah, a little bit of action right at the end there. Hustling for the waves and just trying to, as we go to the heat recap, and Shakira on one of her first lefts. A couple of nice little sort of layback little hacks there, and as you can see, the wave face is a lot bumpy. There's a lot going on, but she negotiated them well, and you know, that was sort of her 4.6, and then Taryn from South Africa.
Yeah, Taryn dropping in and literally tearing the top off of a couple waves here. It was a nice display of her skill and surfing prowess there. That was the one she rode all the way into the dry sand. And here's the one that really impressed me with a nice critical turn right in the pocket, off the top to bottom. Like you said, first turn fully committed, and the judges love to see that, and she was rewarded quite nicely. I believe that was her highest scoring ride of the day with a 4.9. So we will be right back after this short commercial break at the 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships right here from La Boquita, Nicaragua. Stay tuned. And we're live, 2014 ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships. My name is Dan Gavira. I'm joined by Jody Nelson right here for our final heat of the ladies. With that graphic was from our last heat, so we wrapped that one up, and we're looking for the graphic for our next heat. But looking forward to one final heat of the day and seating all of our stand-up paddle surfing athletes. A lot of great performances out here today, Jody, and the conditions have changed quite a bit throughout the day, and I'd have to say they've improved quite a bit since noontime.
Yeah, definitely. The wind switched around a few different times, and we saw in that last heat, Taryn Kite out of South Africa taking the win, and Shakira Westhorpe out of Australia getting second, and Risa from Peru in third, and Karen Jacobson from Mexico bringing up the rear and getting fourth place. But coming up in this heat, we've got Nicole Pacelli in red. Esperanza Sabero out of Venezuela is going to be in white. Ibala Ruano out of Spain is in yellow. And in black we have Alexis Poultier out of New Zealand. So the tides definitely come in, Dan, and this break seems to really like the high tide. It gives the wave a little bit more of a push and get a little more room, you know, because there's a lot of rocks out there on the lower tide. It kind of sucks everything out, and not as much. It's not as good of a wave on low tide. So see the wind kind of whip around today too.
Absolutely, and I just, you know, at high tide, I think you get the waves and the swell feel the bottom a little bit more and jump up. So we're definitely seeing improved conditions here, and looking forward to seeing some of our top performers here in this last heat, with Ibaya Ruano from Spain posting the single highest ride score of the day with an 8.0 and the second highest with a 6.17. So that'll be exciting to watch her. Multiple champion in windsurfing. She's been living in the ocean for a long time, and some of her sponsors include Starboard. And she's a well-traveled athlete, and I believe she also has a sister who's also a professional windsurfer and a very experienced stand-up paddle surfer. Here, looking on to Fun Family Day here in La Boquita, Nicaragua, and here's a cheering squad. I believe, I'm not sure, is that Spain? Yep.
Yep, that's the Spanish flag right there. And they'll be cheering on Ibala Ruano, who, like you said, she dominated so far today in the women's division of SUP surfing here at the ISA World Stand-Up Paddleboard and Paddleboard Championships. She's sitting on that highest total heat score of the day, 14.17. And she has the 2 highest wave scores of the day with an 8 and a 6.17. So we'll be interesting to see if she's able to continue that streak out here in heat number 3. This is the last heat in women's qualifying, round 2.
And I'm still looking for some surfers on the water. I'm not seeing too much happening out there. We got our water patrol. While we have the little downtime here in the action, I'd like to remind everyone to tune into all of our social feeds at hashtag ISA Worlds and hashtag WSUPPC. Send a shout out to us on Facebook at International Surfing Association or on Twitter at ISA Surfing. Keep up to minute updates with everything going on here at isawsuppc.com. Make sure you bookmark that in your web browser. Check it out on your iPhone or your Android mobile computing device. Here we have the live shot of our final heat of all of our lovely ladies. Nicole Pacelli, Esperanza.
Looks like the last heat there. I'm just.
Esperanza Subero, Ibaya Ruano, and Alexis
So
Poutier.
the reason why we're on a little bit of a break here is because the judges were still kind of figuring out this interference situation with Shakira Westhorpe from that last heat. So we've been on hold here waiting for this next heat to start. And what happened was Shakira now got bumped down into the 3rd position, which means she'll go into the repechage round. And Brisa Malaga out of Peru now advances. She's in that 2nd place position. So unfortunately, Shakira getting herself into a bit of an interference situation, which is going to be a bit of a problem for the Team Australia.
Yeah, big change up there right at the end after some final tallies in the heat there. So officially we have Taryn Kite and Barissa Malaga, our top 2 from the last heat. And we are now live with the heat starting with Nicole Pacelli, Esperanza Subero, Ibaya Ruano, and Alexis Poutier from New Zealand. Up and riding, Nicole Pacelli. Nice slash there with some good speed. Little transition with her paddle there from toe side to heel side. The regular footer coming out of Brazil. Nicole Pacelli making a stamp with her dominance in last year's performance at the 2013 ISA World Championships, taking the top of the podium there. Also 2013 Stand-Up World Tour champion. Here we see the graphic on your screen. Nicole is in the red jersey, Esperanza in the white jersey, Ibaya in the yellow jersey, and Alexis in the black jersey. They've got about 19 minutes. The heat has just started. A little bit of a delay there, as Jody mentioned, as the judges were deliberating over the last couple waves there. We saw the athletes going left and right. Right there is just scrambling there at the end of the heat. So it left the judges having to make some calls there. An interference call, and Shakira actually sends Brissa into the advancing position. So now Shakira's got a little more work cut out for her.
As we see up and riding here, that's Alexis Poutier out of New Zealand. And we just saw Bala Riano get her campaign started on a nice little right-hander. But, yeah, a little bit of a disappointment in that last heat. Interferences are never a good thing. I think that was our 2nd one of the day. We had a close call earlier on another possible interference, but the judges were split. 3 said that it wasn't an interference, and 2 said it was an interference. So, a couple close calls out there. It's a peak situation, so there is one takeoff spot for the most part. So that's why we're seeing some of these situations happen. So hopefully, Team Australia will walk away and kind of regroup and have a better strategy. And, we've seen 2 of the top teams send a surfer into the repechage today with Team America, Team USA sending Sean Pointer into the repechage heat, and now Shakira in the women's division. So they'll have to be surfing a lot more heats, but sometimes last year we saw Colin McPhillips go into the repechage round, and he said, I talked to him earlier today, he's like, it's not something I'd want to do again, but it's a lot more heats to surf, a lot more time in the water, but you're often going up, not necessarily going up the top guys, you're going against the lower seeds, so.
Yeah, and it gives you a lot more practice, a lot more time on the water to feel out the waves and to get into a groove, into a rhythm. Sometimes it takes some of these athletes on any given day. Maybe it takes them an hour to get into their groove, into their rhythm, and sometimes the repechage heats is just what they need to perform at their best. So it'll be interesting to watch how this all culminates in the next few days here at our 2014 World SUP and Paddleboard Championships right here in La Boquita, Nicaragua, presented by the International Surfing Association. We have to send a big shout out to the whole country of Nicaragua, especially In Tour, Nicaragua's Ministry of Tourism, sponsored by LuxDev, European Union, Viva Nicaragua, Channel 13, Surfers Village, and StandUpLatino.com, some of our media partners coming together to make this all possible. Philip Mueller is bringing your broadcast live from the other side of the webcasting headquarters here in Spanish. So we've got this going on in 2 different languages in all different parts of the world. So it's a big team that it takes to put this whole production together. And a lot of professionals here in the booth making it happen. So big shout out to the whole production crew and everyone behind the scenes at the ISA.
You can see Abala trying to get into that wave. She scooted all the way to the front of her board. She tried to get some momentum going to catch that wave, but just came unstuck. But she kind of kept Nicole off that wave too, because had she not been paddling for it, Nicole probably would have turned around and tried to get that wave as well.
And Alexis Poulter taking off on a nice little wave, a little bit smaller wave on the inside. It's got a nice shape to it. 21 years old from Auckland. Some nice turns there. Looks like she's on the 8.5 Starboard Pro, perhaps. Some of her sponsors are Mom and Dad. She enjoys the gym, all types of surfing, running, and arts. And currently doing her master's in international commercial law. So we welcome her and the whole Australian team.
Wow, she's 21, getting her master's already. That's pretty crazy. And I know Emmy Merrill, who is on Team USA, she's a junior at Point Loma getting her nursing degree, as we see out there in red. Nicole Pacelli, our 2013 stand-up paddle surfing champion from last year's ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships. And the conditions definitely improving from when the girls were out in round 1. So a lot less wind, higher tide. So a little bit more contestable now, as we see Abala Rano out of Spain in the yellow jersey. She's going to take a look at this peak that's starting to form. And you can see these girls are constantly moving on their boards because they're riding much smaller boards as well. So the ball just sometimes when you get tired too, it just you can't click anymore. You get tired, your legs give out. So you can see her kind of falling a couple times there, just getting her footing straight again.
I know a lot of these athletes too. They end up they're out there surfing for maybe a total of 40 minutes today, but we're on the beach for 8 to 10 hours. So sometimes it doesn't help sitting out in the sun. So they have to be very careful about how they're resting. Up and riding right now, red Nicole Pacelli. Nice wave there. Nice cutty from the top, utilizing that paddle. A little roundhouse cut back, bouncing off the foam, staying firmly in the pocket there, the most powerful part of the wave. On that vertical face, she's got a nice, comfortable feeling on that board, and she's looking solid right into the dry sand there. Oh, she's got to be careful. She almost got hit in the head by her board. You can see it. She rode that right all the way up onto the beach.
Yeah, Nicole's got a really good style. She's got, real smooth style. She's not like over aggressive or anything, but just has a really good, fluid, graceful style. So it's fun to watch her as you see all the way. She scooted way up on the board to get into this right-hander, Dan.
Yeah, and we see a lot of the athletes doing that. It really helps keep that board planing and that board speed up. And then once you drop into the wave and generate some more speed on the plane, it allows you to do the more performance-oriented surfing off the tail. And you see her really working that that kind of tail surfing style there as she throws up a little bit of spray there at the end of her rides. A couple of solid turns there on that wave. But so far, not quite the abaya we saw earlier in the day.
Well, we're just under 12 minutes remaining in this heat, and we're still waiting. The judges are really deliberating on a lot of the scores. We're still waiting for the first of Nicole Pacelli from Brazil and Ibala out of Spain. And Alexis has 2 waves we're waiting to drop, and Esperanza has 2 waves we're waiting to drop. But white and black, smaller waves, but we're looking for some bigger scores from red and yellow. And here we're going to take a look at Nicole's second wave.
Nice little fade on the drop in there, generating some speed here. As you say, very smooth, and I like this aggressive turn off the top, right in the critical part of the wave. Great wave selection as well. She rode this wave all the way to the dry sand on the beach, and here you see it kind of double up on the inside and going for a big maneuver there, and she has to kick out as that wave doubles up again onto the sand. And here we see Ibaya Ruano with a beautiful wave there, a quick switch of the paddle, a textbook little heel side turn off the lip there, and another nice slash there into the critical section of the wave, and some nice surfing there for Ibaya Ruano, just laying it down.
Well, yeah, judges really taking their time because, I mean, this is important. It's the last heat of the day, and 2 of these girls are going to get bumped down to the repecharge round, as we see Alexis Potier from New Zealand taking off on a little inside right-hander. She's going to try and climb up the lip on that one and see if she can get on the inside reform here. Not really getting the board up into the lip, but, it's a ride. It's a ride. So she's getting her campaign going. That's her 4th wave. We see Nicole Pacelli's first wave just finally drops at a 6.0, and her second wave drops at a 5.50. So Nicole Pacelli comfortably in the lead, with Ibaya's first score being a 3.57. We're still waiting for second score of yellow. And let's see, Alexis Potier in black out of New Zealand drops a 2.33 and a 2.57. Esperanza has 2 throwaways in white, just a 0.50 and a 0.43. Still waiting for second wave of Ibala. She's looking at minimum as of right now. Three judges have dropped scores, a 6.5, 6.0, and a 6.5. So and another 6.5 just dropped. So they dropped the high and the low. She gets a 6.33, and that moves her back into second position. And
I believe that's the second highest score of the day, second to her own score of an 8.0. So Ibaya Ruano taking a little bit to get warmed up here, but coming out swinging on her second wave. And I think it's going to be a pretty interesting heat here. She needs a 5.17 to take the lead, which is easily attainable for her. And then we've got Alexis Potier that needs a 7.33 to advance, and Esperanza Subero needing a 9.40 to advance. And that is the situation here as we look on to the red jersey of Nicole Pacelli and last year's 2013 ISA 20 stand-up paddle champion. And right now, checking out another wave by the Kiwi, Alexis Potier.
Well, she's definitely keeping busy, Dan, but it's not quantity, it's quality. So Alexis needs to get out the back and be patient, find a set wave, and get that board really up in through the lip, and get some more progressive maneuvers, as we see White rider out of Venezuela getting her third wave. She's yet to get a score over 1 point. You can see she's on her backhand there.
Nice little wave there, riding her backside for a couple little turns. Esperanza Subero going to better her score just slightly there. As her score drops, we will keep you abreast of everything going on. from Venezuela in the white jersey, Esperanza Subero, paddling back out. You can see her board's a little bit bigger as it glides quite a bit more easily maybe than some of the smaller boards.
So we've got 6 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in this heat as we see some movement in the ocean. Abala out of Spain in yellow, scrapping into this right-hander. She hangs on by the tips of her toes. She's redirecting there, getting a nice little snap, and now the wave's going to kind of stand up.
Aggressive surfing there. Aggressive takeoff there right in the face of some of her competitors as well. Doing a great job of pulling that off. Nice late drop right as the wave curled over the tail of her board. Maybe not good enough to top her highest score of this heat with a 6.33, but certainly good enough for a few more points for her scorecard. So we'll have to see if it's good enough to top a 3.57. I think it'll be pretty close to better her backup score. Nicole Pacelli just kind of dropping in there and not quite making it stick. 22-year-old and last year's ISA World Champ, also a 2013 World Tour stand-up paddle champion. Rides for Red Bull. She's a goofy footer. Also rides for FCS, Mulata Brazil, and she is on her own G0 board, the Pacelli model. Almost sticking the takeoff there as Esperanza Subero, but you could see she hadn't really moved her feet into that surfing position, and it was just kind of like getting the carpet jerked out from underneath your feet there. So that's one of the things you learn as you get better at stand-up surfing is exactly when to change your feet from that parallel stance, that paddling stance, into that surfing stance. And it's not an easy thing to do. So it takes a little bit of anticipation. You got to get some good paddle strokes in, and you got to know how to use that paddle to keep the board going straight, because the most common problem as people paddle for kind of the first timers and people getting into stand-up paddle surfing is that board wants to turn quite a bit. So just as you build up some speed, the board turns sideways to the wave, and obviously that puts you in a really difficult situation. So definitely want to be solid paddler in the flat water before you really start getting out and trying to tackle the waves. So most of the stand-up paddlers, they spend some time, maybe 3-4 hours, paddling around on the flat water before really getting into the wave situation, starting off slow and working their way up.
Well, there we see regular footer Nicole Pacelli on this nice little right-hander. Getting a little cut back. This is our leader, our heat leader. She's got a 6 and a 5.50. So bringing that one all the way to the inside, just coming unstuck, but that's not going to better her situation. Alexis Potier in black from New Zealand and Esperanza in white. Those are the two that really need to try and get into that advancing position. Otherwise, they're going to get bumped down the repecharge round. So we see Team Brazil cheering on Nicole, their fellow teammate.
I think those guys are having the most fun on the beach. Ibaya taking a look, deciding to let it go. Maybe Esperanza will pick up on this one, trying to get her feet into that position we were just talking about a little bit before. Losing her footing just a touch, but she maintains. Kind of hanging on that inside section there.
Well, we've just got 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in this heat as our rider in black out of New Zealand picks off a nice right-hander. Getting a couple little turns there. She's going to try and see if she can find a section to hit here on the inside. Just kind of S-turning her way to the inside. Gets a nice rebound off the top, but comes unstuck there, unfortunately. She's looking to replace a 2.33. That's her low-scoring wave. She needs a 7.33 to advance out of this round. Otherwise, she's going to be going down to the repecharge round. And Shakira Westhorpe out of Australia. Big surprise, big upset there. She, in the last heat, got an interference right there at the end, and she's gotten moved down into the repecharge heat as we see up and riding our rider out of Spain in yellow.
Ibaya Ruano with an aggressive turn off the top. getting a bit of a bounce there, but maintaining. And I think she's got some good wax on that 7-4 she's riding, because her feet didn't move at all. She took a big bounce there. She's going to ride this one all the way into the beach. And just working it there on that last wave. Pacelli taking a look at this one. Nice little right-hander for our regular footer. I think one of her sponsors is Goofy, and that's where I got confused. But she is riding a board that she designed herself for G0, the Pacelli model. So all you ladies out there looking for something that works for performance surfing, and you can handle a teeny board that is high performance, check it out, G0 Pacelli board. Esperanza up and riding on a nice little left for the Goofy footer.
Going down there on the inside there. But we saw that board that Nicole's got actually looks really, really fun. It looks really loose under her feet, and it generates speed, keeps that momentum going, but she's able to put it on rail. And that's pretty key out here. I think separates people a lot is their equipment. You can see the difference between Nicole's equipment and Esperanza's equipment. Esperanza's on a bigger board than Nicole. Nicole's even on a smaller board than Ibaya.
Ibaya's on a small board.
Starboard.
I would say Ibaya, I think, is on about a 85-liter board, so I would say Nicole's probably on a 80 or 82-liter board, maybe even under that.
Yeah, you
so
can tell that
these things are
Ibaya's
potato
got
chips.
a lot more volume under her board, but they're still really, really small boards. So you can see her getting this nice little right-hander, redirecting all the way around on that inside section. But yeah, you see Ibaya, like, she's crouching down while she's waiting for sets to come, because your legs just start burning after a while when you're standing waiting and, you know, balancing yourself out there. As we hear the countdown to this heat, that's going to do it, Dan.
And that's a wrap for today's competition. Got to thank everyone for tuning in to our live webcast here. And stay tuned for many more days to come for the ISA 2014 World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships. Let's take a little look at the highlights from that last round with our ISA heat recap. Nicole Pacelli.
Well, Nicole started off this heat with a 6.0 ride. As you can see, she had a couple great turns out the back. She paddled all the way to the inside on this wave, and this was her 5.50, so similar score to her first wave, which she's able to get that board up and get a couple critical turns. You know, she's throwing that water, redirecting into the whitewash there, and this is the one she takes all the way to the beach and gets that closeout maneuver right on the shore break and nearly lands on the sand. So Nicole putting on a good performance, as she should. She's last year's champion, and here out of Spain in yellow, Ibaya Ruano.
I believe this is her 6.33 scoring ride, where she really made a lot of nice critical turns there, top to bottom. A lot of maneuvers, really milking that wave for everything it had.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to do a recap of the day. Thanks for joining us. Don't go anywhere here for the ISA World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships from La Boquita, Nicaragua.
me see. How long shall the wicked reign over my people?
Thanks for joining us here at the 2014 World Stand-Up Paddle and Paddleboard Championships. We just wrapped up an awesome day of stand-up paddle surfing, and now we're going to bring you some of the highlights from today's top 10 performances. Taking a look out there onto the beach. Here's our daily recap. Antoine Del Perro from France on his backside. Absolutely charging this one, Jody.
He had a great performance today, and Team France looking pretty strong this year as we see Bo Nixon from Australia. He won his first heat, taking down Sean Pointer from USA, got second, but this is Bo's 6.90. We surfed 27 heats today, Dan. It was a long day, and these guys all surfed twice today, so...
And Jackson close on this. Look at that air. It's unbelievable. He was able to make that one stick. His back foot coming completely off.
You can see that Australian-American rivalry right there. Colin McPhillips had to stand and watch as his competitor from Australia just absolutely dominated that wave.
Destroying it there with one of the only airs we saw all day, and doing everything he could to make it stick. So that was good for an 8.0 and a tie for, I believe, top scoring wave of the day.
That's right. He's able to ride that wave all the way to the inside as we see Rioa out in the yellow jersey.
I believe out of Brazil. Nice charge on his backside there, going left earlier in the day. As you can see, and working that paddle from the front side to the backside, just very, very aggressive. Tearing that wave apart, finding open sections throughout. And another wave by Raoa for a 6.77 on his forehand. Beautiful floater there over the section. Big roundhouse cutty right into the foam.
This is our 17-year-old out of Tahiti. He just showed up today and absolutely dominated with a couple of the highest scoring heat totals of the day. And this is Ruano.
Ruano Abaya. I believe this is her 8.0 ride. The highest scoring ride for the ladies all day. Absolutely asserting her dominance there, coming out of the gate, just charging. I believe this was her first wave, and taking her windsurfing knowledge and applying it now to stand-up paddling and inspiring women all around the world.
See all the different conditions today. The wind kind of whipping around, the lower tide, the higher tide. As we see Mazaret, this is a 7.10. And, certain points of the day, the lefts were offering up some better scores than the rights. But, the surfers really utilizing the breakout here today and, surfing some smart heats and finding the right waves out there. As you see, took this one all the way to the inside, was able to really utilize that paddle and that crossbow turn as we see Red up and riding.
Jackson close for another one for a 7.5 on this ride right here. Charging it. Vertical attacks on the lip. Big turns. Utilizing his paddle on the inside of the turn there and the transitions. Excellent wave selection. Jackson close. I believe that's a production JP Australia board. And also one of the bigger riders today. So kind of disproving the small guy has the advantage.
That's right. We've got Bing out of South Africa had a great performance today as well. This is his 6.67 ride. I believe this is round 2. You can tell just because the conditions are a little more chundered up by the wind, but he made the most of it and got a great score. As you see, this is our Tahitian, 17-year-old Tahitian kid,
Rioa
in his round 2 heat.
on his backside.
He put on a clinic today. Like, I'll have to say, he's definitely been the standout performer of the event so far for the guys, and I think a lot of people are going to be keeping their eyes on him. I think he's come out of the woodwork, and not a lot of people realize that the Tahiti team had this little secret weapon.
And looking awesome. And there, as we look down the beach towards some of the coastal casas that you can find here in La Boqueta, Nicaragua. My name's Dan Gavir. I'm joined here with Jody Nelson. We had a great day here. Make sure you
27
come and
heats.
check us out. 27 heats today. We'll probably have the same tomorrow, and looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll check back with you tomorrow. We've got another full day of surfing, both men's and women's. We'll get into some repechage heats. And so check in with us 8 a.m. tomorrow here at the ISA World Stand-Up Paddleboard and Paddleboard Championships, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.